Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
To RGDS, your retro gaming discussion show, and this is our Xmas special. It's your host Paul Driscoll, aka the Drisk, and joining me is not only the usual festive ogre, elf, Gordon King, aka Kingy. Yes, he's back again, but of course we've got the G-Man himself, Garron, here as well. How are you, Garron? Long time no speak.
Yeah, I know. Good to finally get back on one, especially for the end of the year. So hopefully we start next year doing some more shows. But yeah, good to be back on with you guys.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
1987.
And yes, yeah, we need to do that 87. And if that wasn't wonderful enough, we've also got Rick back again. So, well, it's great to have you back. I mean, you've been on quite a few shows recently, but it's wonderful that you're keeping at it, Rick. So, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, it's nice to be on another one with you guys. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, as I say, we thought we'd just do a general chat about Christmases of our childhood and general Christmas cheer, really. We've all got our little drinkies on the go, and we hope our listeners will enjoy reminiscing about Christmases of past and present and future. So without further ado, before we begin the show itself, shall we talk about what we've been up to retro wise? So I'm going to go to you, Garron, first, because it's been ages. So what have you been up to?
God, don't know.
Absolutely bugger all.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. So no, I've played a little bit of Switch, so that's not really retro. I've got an Analog Pocket, so playing a lot of GBA games, although I did take the unusual step of modding it to save using the cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
So more, I suppose the most I've played is some Game Boy Advance, and we'll be moving on to some GameCube soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I love doing that. I love playing through the games. And you've been really enjoying the Analog Pocket as well.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I've had mine quite a while. They've released some different colours and a smoke one and that, so I think they're rinsing it for all they can. I think the shipping delays have been quite poor for some people, and the import costs are quite high, but they've got the Analog Duo shipped, so the PC Engine CD machine is on its way.
They do look beautiful, but they do rip. I mean, I can't bring myself to any company that would charge like 80 quid just to actually post it, and then you say you got the import fees on top. But they do. I mean, it is the Ferraris of retro gaming, isn't it? It is. They look so good, those devices, and I know a lot of our listeners have picked up quite a few analog devices, isn't it? With the TurboGrafx and the Duo, and I totally get it. They are gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, and I think they're really good. I've played on the Mega Drive one and Super Nintendo one. I never picked one up. I probably should have done back in the day, but I haven't got a shortage of machines to play cartridges on. So or CRT. So I'm lucky enough to do. If I didn't have the CRTs, I think I'd have definitely picked them up where they were available without being such silly resale prices.
Well, I guess with the fact that it's an FPGA, I mean, I presume you could put on other cores, can't you? So
you can. And so I've loaded on a few different cores onto the Pocket of Neo Geo Pocket is in there, and a couple of the others. I wasn't going to bother doing it, but I ordered the packs of the pack of 3, the adapters for Neo Geo Pocket, Game Gear and Links, that, but it's taken so long. I think I'll due to get them in February now.
Oh, that's crazy,
so they've been on order most of the year.
Yeah, that is a bit of a con. But I guess, like, when you get your Turbo Duo, or the Duo they call it, isn't it? Which is basically, for those who don't know, it's the FPGA device of the TurboGrafx, the PC Engine, and critically the CD add-ons of those products. That's why it's called the Duo. It's the first time that they've done like a CD add-on, isn't it? But I'm quite curious with that, because now you've got the CD and I guess the PC Engine slot. Does it have like an SD slot as well or not?
Don't know.
Yeah,
if I'm honest,
because
idea.
Because I guess that would be kind of cool, like if you could like put on your Mega Drive and stuff like that on that device rather than have to buy another one of their devices.
It'd be interesting. So if it can be modified and hacked, I think it will be quite quickly. I do firmware updates, and the forums are quite good and very helpful to modify the machines.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Rick and Kingy, you tried that before, or have you played around with any of the analogs devices?
I don't really have any interest in them, to be honest. I just think a lot of money to spend for something I can just do on the PC. I'll be honest about that.
Yeah, I must admit that's kind of thing I keep telling myself. I like the idea.
I like the look of them.
Yeah, I love the look of them. But then I think,
yeah.
I've got the original hardware. I've got like an EverDrive, and I've got the CRT if I wanted to do it. So, and you could buy an upscaler, couldn't you? I guess if you wanted the original hardware into a TV, like modern TV.
Yeah, you could do. There's a new one out, isn't there? The
God, did you see the price of it? The RetroTink 4K, 700 quid.
Yeah, I think.
Oh mate, just get yourself on Facebook Marketplace and get a CRT for 20 quid, man.
Yeah, well that's it. I'm holding on like with dead man's hands onto my CRT. The wife keeps on suggesting, just gathering dust. Should it
Burn
be
the witch.
Yeah. It's not moving. I tell you, that's it. I'm holding on.
She can't lift it, can she?
No, that's it. Oh, fantastic. So, Rick, what about you? What have you been up to retro-wise?
Oh, mate. Well, I've not been doing a great deal of games playing. I've mentioned on the show a few times that I've been itching to make video games myself, and I did dabble after that episode you did on the new Spectrum games about a month or two back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of got me into looking into AGD, and I was messing about with that for a little while and seeing what it was about and stuff. And then I sort of fell on. Have you guys ever heard of OpenBOR at all?
Yep.
No.
So I know King has actually, yeah. So OpenBOR is it started off as BOR back in the Dreamcast days, and what it essentially is a Streets of Rage engine that you can heavily modify. Yeah, you can modify and basically build your own games in. And I think it was in about 2015, 16, I'm going to say. I was dabbling with it, trying to make a Double Dragon sort of pretty much just a Double Dragon game, just because Double Dragon, when you emulate it now, because of the slowdown and stuff, it does feel a bit sluggish now. And even if you sort of overclock the CPU in MAME to get it to run sort of less sluggish, you're sort of what's the word I'm looking for? You're sort of trying to find a sweet spot between making a game too fast and keeping it kind of a little bit of slowdown just to give the speed, what I mean? So it doesn't feel too fast. So my plan was back then to basically create a Double Dragon that felt somewhere in the middle and all that stuff. And recently I went back to it because I really fancied having a go at making something in that engine, because I keep bloody starting stuff and not finishing it. And I thought to myself, look, I want to make a bloody game. Let's just go back to BOR, because that's the engine I was having the most success with. I managed to do some scripting because the throw mechanic in BOR is just sort of like, you grab the opponent, you chuck them, and they just rotate over you and fly away. Whereas with Double Dragon, there's like 3 or 4 frames of animation where you're attached to the character, and you have to edit the code in the game to script that action so you actually get the right feel. And I got that far, and I just thought I was going to pick it up again, and so basically I've just been delving back into my old work, trying to work out where awesome. I was and all that sort of stuff. And I think what I'm going to do, sod the Double Dragon. There's no point making a Double Dragon. Everyone's got it on different systems, and I'm going to try and make an original game with it, and I'm going to try and stick with it this time. So awesome. That's my plan for the new year, is to just instead of like working till 4 a.m. every night for about a month and then burning myself out, I'm just gonna dabble like every day, just do like an hour or two, and then crack on. Hopefully get something by the end of it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of my plan is to make a very strange beat 'em up, because most beat 'em ups use these massive sprites and very cool graphics, but they all feel kind of similar. I've gone for the idea of making a horde mode beat 'em up, where I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do it or not, but basically you've got your one character and he's super powerful, Like in a normal beat 'em up, he'd be overpowered, but in this beat 'em up, he's going to be like a sort of 16 by 16 pixel, and he's going to have like hundreds of enemies coming at him at once.
Awesome. That's
And the idea would be to keep your combo going, because as you build your combo, it's going to build up the mana meter, or the meter that gives you special powers. So when the bigger enemies start appearing on the screen, like 64 by 64 pixels, etc., you're going to be able to pull off lots of better special moves. And the idea would be to keep the combo going and get a bigger score and bigger multipliers in order to build that bar up more, so you can take on the bosses as they start coming onto the screen and things like that. So it's just the idea I've got at the moment, but that's what I'm going to try and create, basically. So something a little bit different,
Try and put on, if you make any sort of like progress with it, put it on our Discord channel. But
I'll let
you diary or something like that.
Yeah, I'll
we've
let
got
you
a
guys
dev, we've got a
test
dev
it
channel on the Discord channel.
Yeah, for sure. So that's what I want to do in the new year, really. That's my sort of plan, is to just tick along with that rather than burn myself out. Like that's my problem, man. I hit things like a bloody ball, but then I run out of steam, and then it sits there.
I've done the same. I mean, we tried that Blue Dog game, didn't we? And we got quite far, Kingy. But ironically, it was like once we got to the level design, and that's when you realise it's so difficult to get all the balancing right and that.
Yeah.
And then you look. The trouble is, the other killer is that the world is so good at making games. There's so many good indie games out there that you just think, well, yeah. But I'm excited to see I think it's a great idea, the Horde mode. I think that sounds exciting.
Yeah, because I was going to kind of theme each level. Like one level could be the Christmas level, where the grunts are like reindeers attacking you and stuff, and then you build up to Santa, basically. You get some demon elves or whatever. Just silly things like that, or even like an aliens level where you got xenomorphs and you end up with a queen or something. Anything like that, just silly things like that, basically. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
because you're quite a good artist, aren't you?
I'm not bad.
Piss artist.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm a good piss artist. I'm definitely good at that. I'm on the buck fast tonight, actually. Buck fast gets you fuck fast. Brewed by monks, drunk by cunts. There you go.
Start as we mean to go on.
Exactly.
So, Kingy, what about you? What have you been up to retro-wise?
Well, I'm not on the Buckfast, that's for sure. Well, actually, quite related to Rec. Very similar. I've been playing a lot of the open bore stuff on my arcade cab. The fully loaded Pi image that I put on, the Batasera one, came with a squintillion of excellent homebrew games on it, and one of the best ones on it, I don't know if you played it, Rick, is the He-Man beat 'em up.
I have seen that. I have seen it. It's got very nice big graphics, doesn't it? It looks almost like the cartoon, doesn't it? It's
it
that
does.
Well done.
It's done so well and really good. I was well impressed with it. So once you discover, it stands out when you see it in attract mode, don't you? It's like, oh, I'll try that first. And then it's just a whole rabbit hole to go down in discovery of these homemade fan games. You have sequels, other Double Dragon ones like you alluded to, or I'm trying to think what else is on it. I'm just
there's a few. I mean, if you go on YouTube and just sort of search like for the best BOR games, the ones you're going to kind of get is the Art of Fighting. I can't remember exactly what it's called now. Something about Art of Fighting. It's got a map mode in it, so you can move. I think the bloke said it takes like 48 hours of continuous gameplay to complete the game. It's that big in terms of like a fighting game. It's like almost like an RPG fighting game where you're basically trying to take down the criminal syndicate in the city, and you sort of move around the map. Each point on the map has got different beat 'em up levels and stuff, and you learn new moves and all sorts of stuff. It's very in depth in terms of that. The only problem I got with some of the Beats of Rage stuff is that they tend to use versus fighting game characters and sprites and throw them in a beat 'em up, which kind of feels a bit odd. But I mean, if you're not fussed about that type of thing, then you could probably play that game and have a really good laugh with it. But there's so many, man. Like there's like horror ones. There's all sorts. All you got to really do is, I think, chronocrash.com, I think it is, or .org or something like that. That's like the home of the open Beats of Rage engine. And if you go to the resources section, you can literally see all the people who have released games there. and you can see all the different projects that have been released or are in development or are being updated and things like that. So there's so much on there. Like there's Turtles, there's Street Fighter, there's bloody Double Dragon, there's all sorts, and there's people making their own unique games on there as well, which is why it's a really good engine, really. There's some games that have taken the walk, right and fight style game to the level it probably would have got to if it continued, if it didn't die to death after the fighting game, the one-on-one fighting games exploded.
And it's something we spoke about that it has potential to be a future episode continuing our Walk, Right and Fight series. I think there's a very strong episode within that, curating our handpicked games for the listeners to play through.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Sorry, Kingy. Yeah. What else?
No, I don't know. I want to just a bit of laugh because Rick got so much beef about it. The community gaming game in the Discord channel was everyone to play Wardener, so everyone played it, and some people enjoyed, some people didn't, but everyone played it and participated. That made it quite cool, didn't it, Rick? So
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was nice seeing people sort of say what they thought, and actually the difference between the Mega Drive and arcade version, which was a bit of an eye opener because I'd never really played. Go on.
Yeah, I have issues with the game, as people know, but my God, you would have felt robbed buying the Mega Drive version, that was for sure. That's just awful on the Mega Drive.
It's not much different. It's just
It's
harder.
enough just to annoy me more. One, you paid money for it rather than put 10 pence in. Yeah. The physics, I mean, it's bad enough, I know. You get used to one type of physics in the game and you accept it for what it is, and you go and play the other one, and you can move in midair. And the Mega Drive one, make up your mind what you're going to do with the game and stick with it.
Yeah. But, that's slightly off-putting.
We played it, and main thing is it was a bit of community spirit playing it, and that was what made it good fun. So
yeah, and that's what's great with the Discord channel, isn't it? It's a shame I never seem to have the time to try and do the community ones, but it's nice. It's nice reading the comments and stuff and seeing the banter. For me, I mean, I've watched that Rubber Key Wonder documentary. That was wonderful.
Yep.
The one we discussed the other day. That's a Spectrum one.
It's done really well, isn't it?
It's done really well. I mean, I'm getting a little confused because ages ago I ordered the Amiga Games one Kickstarter, but I'm confused because then they suddenly did this Rubber Key Wonder before, even though it came out after that's come out first, and then they're trying to sell a volume 2 of the Amiga Games one with another Kickstarter. So I've got very confused, but I'll just pick up. But the Rubber Key Wonder is really, really good. It's all about the Spectrum. It's got loads of people on there, like loads of the developers, very professionally done. But also it really does make you get misty-eyed and nostalgic for the machine. I mean, they do a great job selling what was special about the Spectrum, I thought. Yeah, really, really good. The other thing I wanted to say is it's quite sad. Did you see the death of the E3? It is no more. I'm
not sad about it personally, but
mate.
Oh, it's a special part of gaming history. Though,
it was.
It was.
A place for fucking smelly fuckers to turn up on, and I don't know. These expos do the work for me. I know a lot of people like them. I may be making light of it, but I don't know. I do like game trailers, but I don't want to go to an event to see a game trailer.
But I mean, I don't think I would ever want to actually physically go there. But there was something just about the celebration of games, which I don't think the Summer of Games or the Game Awards, that sort of replaced it, does the same. Obviously, you've got the ones done individually by Xbox Showcase and PlayStation and things, but it's not the same, is it? It's not the same, that overarching celebration. And it was that time when you really were excited to see the latest games get mentioned and stuff.
Yeah. I think just now, because of social media,
it's just not needed in today's
It's
world,
not needed.
Right?
The real time presentation of work in progresses is there. They can promote it in their own way, give short demos, give specially edited video clips of it, create their own hype engine, really, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, E3 should have just done what the Game Awards or What's it called? What's the one in summer that he does? The Summer of Gaming or whatever it's called.
No, I don't know.
You should have done that. But yeah, sorry, you were saying, Rick. What about?
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. I just like with the last generation and all the disappointments, like they killed it themselves by all the hype that they built at these events, and then they didn't deliver on what they were saying. They lied to gamers. They produced videos of the games that looked amazing, and then when the actual game was released, it was chopped, it was cut, it was not
Well, that
as good
happens.
looking.
That still happens today, though, doesn't it?
Oh, I know it
That's
does,
the
but I
industry.
don't know. I mean, like back in 2011, when during the Xbox and PS3 era, and 2012 and all that, like seeing some of these games coming out and getting hyped for them, and they actually delivered. Like I remember I found out about Lollipop Chainsaw on, I think it was a 2011 or 2012 one. And I was like, it was like an under the radar game. It wasn't like one that was pushed out, but it was like it was in there, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I give that a go. I really enjoyed it, but with the PS4 era and that, it felt like they kind of everyone was trying to outdo each other, wasn't they? And it just felt a bit. It just fell flat. It just fell on its face in the end. And wasn't it like the last one or two, Sony or someone didn't even bother turning up anymore?
Yeah,
and
Sony's
stuff.
not turned up to the last hit.
Yeah,
and that's why they cancelled it. I mean, it's been cancelled the last 2 years, but I mean, now they've finally said enough's enough.
Yeah.
What about you, G? You got any memories or thoughts on the E3 and that?
I think it was of its time. I think when, like Gordon said, and everything's so on demand, and we get all of the updates and we get the shows from each of the key publishers and console makers, it's all there. So it did make the show redundant. I think in the times of the early internet and the magazines, the big Edge E3 specials, you'd go through, wouldn't you, with great eagerness to see what was coming out in the future. But I think it hit its peak, didn't it, in the early noughties, and with a great console wave there, and it has been. I haven't found it relevant for a few years. I haven't really paid too much attention to it for probably like 3 or 4 years before COVID, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the trouble is as well is because the development time for games is so long, right? That they can tease it year one, another trailer year two. I mean, it could be 5 years development. So, what products do you have to really show? I mean, look at a Grand Theft Auto game. How long has it been since
10 years?
5, and only really now the trailers have emerged and still not really give that much indication about the gameplay. That way, you know what I mean?
Maybe it'd be too niche, but having an E3 that showcased indie developers, now that would be something I'd be interested in,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they did kind of try that with, Kind of Funny did it for a couple of years. But it clearly wasn't profitable enough. That's the trouble. I mean, gaming, you got the Game Awards, which does sort of shout out a lot of indie as well as AAA, but yeah, I think a dedicated indie one would be awesome. But would you get the views? That's the trouble.
That's the
need
problem,
the big
innit?
announcements. But talking of announcements, I don't know if people saw on the Game Awards. Did you see Sega dropped a trailer saying they're remastering many of their games? So
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so the ones they announced was Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, so it's like a 3D version based on the clips. You're seeing the video version of this. They did... What were the other ones? There was Crazy Taxi. So excited for that. That looked awesome. You had a 2D Shinobi. Yeah. And I'm sure there's another one that's escaping me there. But and also I don't know if you saw there was a further leak from somebody at Sega doing, it was like to a financial thing, and they sort of leaked that they're also working on Kid Chameleon, Eternal Champion, which seems a bizarre one to do.
Yeah, to me it does. Yeah.
And I can't remember the other one now. I should have been better prepared. But
They've got so
whatever
many
it
bloody
is,
IPs, haven't they?
Oh.
Like they're just sitting on them and they ain't doing nothing with them.
It fries my brain that I have to, if I want to play legitimately some of their arcade games, I've got two options outside of emulation, obviously. but it's for legally. I either play Yakuza, which is a game that bores me to tears, quite frankly. And I can't believe, like, in the latest version, you've got like Daytona 2 and another racer which I never heard of, which looks awesome. Or I can buy those Astros, the Minicade, the Astro City Minicade. But why don't they just bloody release? I mean, that's all I think most people would want. If they did like an Outrun collection or something like that with Outrun 2 with a Ferrari license, I mean, I have my money now.
Well, like, for example, just this is a bit of a side note, but like, like they did the Spanish team Bomber Games did Streets of Rage remake, and it is infinitely better than Streets of Rage 4. Like, essentially, it's just a remix of the first 3 Streets of Rage games with different options to turn on different gameplay nuances. Why, for example, why not take Outrun, the original, and remix it so that you can play online against other people, at the same time, and like, I don't know, there's loads of options, loads of options,
Just get the guy who did Cannonball.
Yeah.
You got like a level created, make it a bit more front-end
mod friendly, like
yeah.
Minecraft type thing where people can create their own things and stuff. And, obviously the best stuff goes to the top of the marketplace and you download it and you play it and blah, blah, blah. But there's so much options there, like with community-led and community-driven type modifications that the cream always rises, doesn't it?
Actually, you're saying because they are doing, that was one of the games they announced on that trailer, Streets of Rage, but they've gone down the 3D path, and I think that's a mistake, really. But the other one that was leaked out by that interview from Sega to the financial one that I couldn't remember before was Alter Beast, which, to be honest, there was one on the PS2 which wasn't that great, was it? So not that excited about the ones they're choosing, apart from Crazy Taxi. I'll always be excited for Crazy Taxi.
A problem with Crazy Taxi is the music is part of the soul of the game, and I don't know whether they're going to bring back those tracks or not. I mean,
well, these aren't re-releases, because obviously you can buy Crazy Taxi re-release, and you're right, they took the music off it. But in fact, actually, just play it on the GameCube or the Dolphin emulator. That's probably the best way to play Crazy Taxi with the original music, because you get all the extra modes that the arcade
didn't have, sort of thing.
So but I'm wary but excited. I'm just excited they're doing something with their IPs, and maybe it will kickstart some of these arcade games making their way.
Well, that's the thing, they should have learned from Sonic Mania, like the amount of Sonic games they've tried to create, and some of them have been all right, like Sonic Generations, for example, but like Sonic Mania blew it out the park, and it was a bunch of geezers who were hacking old Sonic ROMs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they did, and that's like one of the best Sonic games for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Garron, you any thoughts on it?
I think the ones that have been announced, Shinobi takes my interest. I think looks really good. Huge fan of all of those games on the Mega Drive and Saturn. With, like I say, Crazy Taxi, loads of fond memories of playing that 1 and 2 on the Dreamcast, and it was great. But like you've said, maybe it needs a different mode now to switch it up from that. But you notice on the trailer, it didn't have a time, did it? So it might be a different type of gameplay. So it didn't have a timer on it like the games we've had before.
More open. Yeah.
So it might be a bit more sandboxy.
Maybe the different modes, maybe they have the arcade and things. Yeah.
Golden Axe, I suppose it's all about how the camera and how it handles that move into 3D from the clip that we saw. Graphics look fantastic. I think that the original Golden Axe is good. It's quite short, isn't it?
It's still pretty solid, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it is. I mean, I'd be more worried if they'd have put an Altered Beast remake up there. I'd be going, that might be a dog. But
well, they did announce there is going to be one, so but clearly it's not far enough along. But
did you guys ever play Gauntlet Legends?
Yeah, it was good fun.
It was all right. Yeah.
See, I think I quite enjoyed Gauntlet Legends. I think if they do it in that kind of vein, it might actually be okay. I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it?
What
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe. Well, by the look of it, it wasn't. Did you see the trailer? It was.
No, I haven't seen it, mate. No.
It's a lot more zoomed in.
Ah, okay.
And it's to be honest, it looks like the one that was never got released. Or no, they did release it, wouldn't it, on the PS3 era? That was terrible.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it.
It looked like that, but it was that same zoomed in sort of like beat 'em up level.
Ah, bloody!
but
All
in
we want
3D.
is like I don't. Have you guys ever played Dragon's Crown? It's like a PS3 beat 'em up RPG
Yeah.
type thing, and
Yeah.
all you want is like a 2D pixel based, like really nicely animated, beat 'em up with extra layers in it, don't you? That's what you're sort of looking for in a Golden Axe remake, aren't you? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I mean, and I'm with G really. The Shinobi one interests me the most because it was bringing me vibes. Did anyone play? In fact, it was the last time there was a Shinobi game was on the 3DS. There was a Shinobi game. It's sort of a similar thing. It's sort of like a hand drawn 2D look to it. So yeah, it looked a lot of fun with that one. Anyways, I'd be interested to see what they do with it really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to mention before we go into the show properly itself is because I just think this is really, really scary for the new world that we live in. Is did you see? I know it's only on TV, but yet again, this is the second time that Sony have done it. They pulled all the TV content that people have bought for Discovery Channel. Basically, the deals run out. And anybody who's bought any TV show, anything that relates to that on their store, even though they bought it, it's been pulled completely from them. So if you bought like whole seasons of this, whatever Discovery show, like car fixing up or whatever it is, they're not even giving you a refund. They're just like, thanks for your continued service. Which I know technically, when you read all those terms and conditions on whether it's Nintendo, Xbox, you're only renting, really. That's basically what they're saying in all those terms and conditions.
I've got 2 words for you, Drisky. Pirate Bay.
Well, this is it. I mean, it does sell.
Well, it only
Pirate Bay.
encourages that, doesn't it? That's the point. I mean, you make a joke about that, Rick, but I mean, it only fuels the physical owning purists, and I get their argument. People, I just want to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray to keep it, or I just want to buy a physical copy of a game, which is getting more and more and more difficult in this day and age, right? And even if you do buy the original, there's so many day one updates that it renders the original pretty much useless because there's so many bloody bug fixes. You need that online connectivity to get the updates down. So if you uninstall the game because you finished playing it to conserve hard drive space, you're back to ground zero with that again. So we're buggered. It only encourages that kind of behaviour in that way.
Yeah. And that's where I'm coming from. I mean, movies is less of a concern, just purely. I mean, it's obviously is a concern. It always is, but you're right. You can. Let's be honest. You can find other ways of getting these films and TVs. There's lots of options, but with gaming, you're pretty screwed, aren't you? Really. I mean, I know. I mean, outside of if you have a PC, you're golden with it all. But there are still ways. But it's a lot more murky, isn't it? Like gaming piracy, really, or that world of gaming is because you've got viruses and all a host of things that can be bad. Unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
but it just scared me. I mean, I've always been wary. To be honest, Nintendo and Sony have shown again and again they do not respect digital ownership.
No, I mean, for example, like I remember when there was that big push for digital games, and I'm looking on the Sony store or the Xbox store, and I'm looking at the these digital downloads are more expensive in some respects than buying the physical copy. It's like what's going on here? It's ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I
Newsflash,
don't know.
they like money.
yeah, well, yeah, but if you want the world to go digital, then you don't have to use all the petrol and the logistics and the plastic and the printing and the machinery to produce the discs and blah 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 blah. Make the game like 60% of the retail price in the store, and people will start going digital, won't they?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a scary world, particularly for us, who are all about preservation, and our listeners who are all about preservation. It's a scary world we're going into.
I'll be honest, Driscoll, most of the games today ain't worth keeping. Anyway.
No, you're true, actually. Yeah, it's true with that. G, any thoughts on it yourself, or
Well, if there's 3 people that don't need any encouraging to go to Pirate Bay, I'm on the phone, on a call with them right now. But yeah, I saw that, Paul, and it is a bit. You've all said it. Rick's right. There's even some of the DLC now. I think the new Diablo DLC that they're talking for next season, that might even be as high as Muta's $100 for it. And Gordon's just said, I think the only top rate game that's come out recently that hasn't had a day one update was by Nintendo. Mario Wonder was like, it's a great game. I don't think it had any updates, did it? It was just it came out, it played well, it's really good. But we've all joked for years, haven't we, about we'd come home, buy a new game, put it in and wait for it to install, then update, and then it goes. And some games take years, don't they? Like Cyberpunk.
Oh God,
it's only just at its full potential now. It was how that one got out the door. It's a shocker.
Yeah, no, it's true, and you know, I mean, I've actually reached a point now where I don't buy, apart from on Nintendo, I don't buy physical releases anymore because I just don't see the point. It's just a coaster. It's a glorified coaster that tells you to download it, and it's got all, as you say, with all the patching. It's not like in 20 years' time. I've no confidence in 20 years' time I'll be able to like put that disc in, and it will boot up the game and it would work as it should, like it does on you know, like Mega Drive and all these.
Bring back systems. Cartridges without batteries in them.
Yeah. It's true. Actually, that's one thing. Sorry, I know this will be the last thing, but sort of like Charlie and me exchanged Christmas gifts, and because we're like kids, we didn't wait till Christmas. We just we just opened the presents, and he bought me a brilliant, fantastic arcade stick that's wireless. That's awesome.
Wow.
But I got him the. Have you seen them? They're done by the company that does Evercade, and it's like they take the Evercade cartridges, but it has built in. So it was like it's about £50, and you can get it on.
Don't tell him the price. He listens to the bloody show.
He doesn't. He says he does, but he doesn't. But you know, it's got all the 18 Taito games built on it because he loves, and it's the arcade ones, so like Bubble and Space Invaders. So I knew it had his favourites on there. But
Still needs to beat my score on that.
I know. But I also bought him as an extra the Evercade of Warner. Yeah, one of them does have Warner actually. No, I wouldn't put that on anybody. No, I bought him the Oliver Twins collection. So it's like Disney. You know how much he loves Dizzy. Put on like the Dizzy sort of collection. But what impressed me is like the Evercades. The actual, every cartridge, not only is it cartridge and there's no updates because it's not designed to go on wireless, everything works out the gate, but also it's a full colour manual. It's just wonderful seeing a full colour manual which actually told you stuff about the games, you know, not you know, like quite a reasonable amount about the games. And I just miss that of Gaming Past, and you know, I just wish more companies would do it. Anyway, we're all let's go before we go on rambling and reminiscing. So we go on to our main bits of the show.
Yeah, let's get a bit festive. Let's get a bit jovial, for goodness
sake.
It'll be a bit doom and gloom and ho ho ho.
Let's go.
So, I thought we'd take ourselves through a journey of Christmases, and we've got 3 guest gaming spirits, if you will, come to tell us and take us to the times of Christmas past, present and future. Will we stop being Grinches and Scrooges as we were at the beginning of this episode and find the true gaming spirit? So, shall we go on to our first ghost to take us to Christmas past?
Hello, G, Rick, Drisky and Kingy. I am Christmas Monty Mole, the gaming spirit of Christmas past. So hold my hands. Yes, that's right. Don't be side ducks. and let me take you back to Christmases of your childhood.
Right, well, that was lovely, wasn't it, to see Mr. Christmas Monty Mole. I do love that game. And he's taken us back to our Christmas past. We've got our times as kids and where we didn't have to worry about the day-to-day, and it was a special, special time. So I'm going to go to you, Kingy, first of all.
Okay.
Yeah, so what Christmas past have you been taken to, and what are your memories of Christmas as a kid?
Well, let's go back to 1984, and it probably ties in with the good memories anyway, and generally how Christmas was, right? Well, let's go back a little bit earlier. Because my brother was 5 years older, right?
Yeah.
He always wound me and my sister up very hyper at Christmas time. So on the run up, on the final week, okay, we had this thing called the Christmas plan that we rehearsed, right? So it'll be like a winter's evening, just like any time now, on any given, say that tonight is Thursday. So a Thursday evening, about this time, not too long before bedtime, but we're up and it's like, let's practice the Christmas plan, right? So me and my sister would pretend we're sleeping, right? Yeah. And I shared the room with my brother, obviously, and she slept in another room, so there's 3 bedrooms in the house.
Yeah.
So we'd put the lights out, pretend we were sleeping, and then you get the, wake up, it's Christmas morning, right? But the plan was, this would be a mission for 5 in the morning, where your parents weren't too happy you were up at that time, but you were so excited to go downstairs and see what Santa brought, or, Christmas presents you had, that we had to practice not creaking the door open.
Yeah.
Knowing all the floorboards that creaked and getting all the way downstairs without opening the parents. And that was a ritual for a good few years, doing that. It was just something exciting we did, and I always think back to that, just innocent childhood memories and that, and it's just such a silly thing we did, but the practice did work, because we did able to sneak downstairs. And the parents let us anyway. Whether we woke them or not, I don't know. But, it just felt part of this master plan that was schemed. We would draw a map off the staircase on a bit of paper and you name it. Silly
like
stuff.
A video game where you're like working out the way down the stairs.
Yeah. Absolutely. So anyway, 1984. That was the year I got my rubber keyboard ZX Spectrum. Now, up to that point, I had the arcades, exposed to a little bit of the Spectrum, Manic Miner. It would be like at the Jumbo sale, where it would be set up for charity. You get to play for 5 pence, 10 pence a go, or whatever it was for it. Absolutely fantastic playing it, and so I was very familiar with it. But I was so addicted to the Atari 2600, playing that borrowed from friends, as I've said in many a podcast before, and been so addicted to Yar's Revenge. Even Pac-Man on it, even though it's not very good. It was special because you got to play Pac-Man at home. You know what I mean? Adventure for me would always be the major go-to game. That was just absolutely incredible. That was a new world for me, which was very different from arcade games. But anyway, a great experience. But looking at these consoles on the catalogues or in the shops, it was just far too expensive. Even the cost of the cartridges was just phenomenal, the price. I wouldn't like to put it in today's money, what that game. Probably a bit like what you're saying about £100 for a game or something like that, equivalent. I don't, so there's no way, being in a family of 3, that I could have even asked for that. I didn't even have the brass neck or have spoilt child syndrome. I mean, I've heard the stories. I don't know if you've heard the stories from our friend Daz from Arcade Perfect, and his stories being a spoilt shit to get a Commodore 64. I was like, oh my god, I would have.
It wouldn't have worked in my household. My parents would have hurled me out the window.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have just set it on fire and I bought it for you, but because you're acting like a spoiled shit, I'm setting it on fire in front of you. And by the way, there's no fucking Santa, right? So just speaking about it, and then the Spectrum took that price drop at that point down to £129.99. So that was a sweet spot. Still a lot of money back
A lot
then.
of money, a big outlay.
Yeah, considering everybody else, because my brother got stuff that year as well as my sister, obviously. So I asked for it. I didn't need to, nag at my parents and harp on about it. I just said I would really love a computer. I didn't need to do the hard sell, that bollocks about homework. I loved computers, especially with the exposure to the BBC Micro at school as well. You're really getting into it and enjoying it. So I asked for it and I got it. So on Christmas morning, there it is, unraveling. Yes, a Spectrum, that lovely. I still remember the box and the polystyrene, open it. And even in a brand new box, the polystyrene just goes everywhere, doesn't it? It's like polystyrene's a pain in the arse. Open it up. Trying to figure out how the wires and getting they didn't buy me a cassette recorder. They didn't think about it. Like, but my sister had one for listening to music, so it wasn't. I couldn't play. So I borrowed her. Still have that to this day. Oh, I stole it. Sorry. Oh, right. Okay. It became mine, ladies and gentlemen. It became mine. So it came. The Spectrum itself came with the famous 6-pack bundle. Now. I've got nostalgia for it simply because it was my first experience of firing up Spectrum games, and there's nothing really incredibly fantastic on it. Some things border on mediocrity and some things border on, well, I'm not interested in that as a kid. So you had Horace Goes Skiing, so it was the very first game I fired up, and that was fantastic for its time.
Good, isn't it?
I love Horace Goes Skiing.
Do you want to say to our listeners what you do in Horace Goes Skiing? In case
it's a variant on Frogger. So you play what was one of the earliest mascots at the time in video gaming, especially in sort of UK video games. It's a blue blob with one arm, I think he had. I don't know what happened to the other arm. It's a weird
character, but he is quite engaging. He is the mascot for the Spectrum, isn't he?
Yeah. And he is on the piste. So basically, it's a Frogger level to start off with. You start at the top of the road, and you have to avoid all the very fast-moving traffic and get down to the bottom to the ski shop, get your skis, and get back up to the top. And then it becomes a slalom game on the second screen. Rinse and repeat. So to have two kind of games in the one was just so exciting at the time. The lovely bright graphics and those chirpy sounds. I mean, as always says, the beeper chip gets a lot of grief, but that's because a lot of people who weren't familiar with it back in the time play it through emulation or through TVs now, and that sound comes through the TV and it's a lot more sharper. But we had just an internal speaker on the Spectrum back then, so it wasn't
too bad.
It wasn't too bad. So those sounds of the ambulances running across, or when you're getting hit, just absolutely fantastic. So I loved Horace Goes Skiing as a game. It was fun, and I didn't have a joystick, and it's like one of these. If you ever had the trivia games, you always remember the keys you use in the game. It was QZ and P and I for QZ up and down, PI left and right. But it was a great introduction, and the family enjoyed it as well. That's what was more important about it. My mum and dad, who had clearly had no interest in this thing, fell in love with this character Horace, and they had goes abysmal at it. They're absolutely, I was like, Jesus, I've learned it across the road, and they just died. But everybody had a laugh, and we played it for a good while, and that was brilliant. So next up was, that was fun. Oh, this survival game looks good. Oh my God, even to this day yet, Survival is an educational game about living in a microsystem where you can either be a mouse, a lion, and maybe an eagle, something like that. So they all have their own predators after them and energy needs. So it's just a kind of top-down viewing game where you move about, find food, survive, and not be eaten by predators. That must have lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Get that pish off.
I don't think I've played it for longer than that.
Couldn't take to it. It was even the front cover. I can just picture it now. It was something your mum would buy. You think you'd learn something on the Spectrum about survival. Listen, I went to a shitty primary school and a shitty high school in a shitty area. I know enough about survival, you know what I mean? What else was on it? So Checkered Flag, which
great one.
Brilliant game yet to this day, yet I think. Very good first person or viewing in the cockpit racing game with many the sort of famous tracks, Silverstone, Brands Hatch, stuff like that. Probably very, very many redundant race courses. Now I don't watch F1, so I don't know what exists and what doesn't, to be honest. But really enjoyed it. Lots of screechy brakes. Going back now, And we've spoke about Checkered Flag in the past because we've covered it in the past, but that I've got fond memories of it. But racing games notoriously outdate more than any other genre. I always insist on because the next bit of technology coming on seems to, especially if you stick with arcade racing, seems to make it just that little bit better sometimes.
It's a special game, and of course done by Steve Kelly, who went on to Bitmap Brothers and all of those. But I mean, you know, that was, I think, one of his first games. So it's a great. I think it's still very playable. Checkered Flag.
It is. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'll still fire it up if I want a big hug and a big wash of nostalgia, simply because it takes me back to that Christmas morning. Absolutely. And, you know, I might. Well, we're talking about Christmas. I'll go into Christmas present later because that ghost will visit us very soon anyway. But then there was chess, and there was nothing wrong with chess. My dad taught me to play chess, so the only thing I found more frustrating was it was slower to play chess because he had to type in the grid. You know, move pawn and A1 to A2 or whatever the hell. You know what I mean. So it was. But when you had no opponents to play with you, there was the computer-controlled AI, if you want to call it that, playing against you at different skill levels. So I'm partial to a game of chess. I'm not saying I'm very good at it, but I do like it. But it was something I always able to play with my dad, so I didn't really need to play this because I'd rather... It's a very tactile game. I love holding a chess piece and moving it, if you see what I mean. But I think as well, we were exposed to those electronic iterations of it as well, you know, the portable electronic devices of it anyway.
I used to love those, with the physical pieces.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not slating it, I just mean it wasn't as important to me, but, you know, it was an important game for the Spectrum because, well, chess has come out in everything, hasn't it? I mean, Battle Chess on the Amiga and DOS and whatnot else, it evolves and you get variations of it. What else was it? Scrabble, I've always loved words and I like Scrabble on it, and
it's a good version
company
as well on the Spectrum.
Yeah,
I think.
pretty decent. The actual dictionary, if you want to call it that, on it was quite vast. Well, what you thought was for the Spectrum. So
very impressive. It still impresses me today.
Yeah. Am I missing one more game? I've just said 5 games.
The other one was just a programming thing, I think it was. It
it was Make a Chip, right?
Yeah.
Make a Chip.
Is that actually a game, is it? I never played it.
No, it's a CAD program for designing NAND gates and learning how logic works.
They were so determined to not make it a games machine, weren't they?
Oh yeah, I know. It's like Clive Sinclair had a big say in this six-pack, you know. Yeah, that was the least played. I mean, it's funny, I went onto electronics and done all that kind of thing, and truth tables and, you know, De Morgan's theorem and all the rest, things that were introduced back then, but no, I've never even fired that up, even for shits and giggles under emulation. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying there's classic games there, but that was my introduction to the world of the ZX Spectrum, and I was proud of it. And some of these games, or pieces of software, if you want to call it that, you know, they have a place in your heart because that's all you had on Christmas Day.
No, I agree. And so G, and I'll come to you, Rick. Did you have any sort of like memories of those games in particular? Have you played those games on the Spectrum, or all new to you?
No, I played sort of the Horace one, the chess one. Armour touched them, but it was a few games that I never really touched at all, really. Yeah.
And Rick, is it any of those or all new to you?
No, it's all new, mate. I mean, I'm very new. Well, sort of new to the Spectrum in that respect, if you get what I mean. So I don't know that well.
I mean, I remember that pack. That was what my parents got with their one as well. Obviously, it wasn't my machine, so I didn't have the same sort of like direct exposure. I sort of came to
see that little hint there, chaps. He's saying to me, right, his parents had that for their Christmas, like I'm ages with his bloody parents.
No, well, they
to him, you might as well be his parents' age.
Exactly.
Drisky, I've got something to tell you, son.
But no, it was special. But you literally just had those 6 games, I guess, because to buy additional games would have just been too much. You didn't get any additional games from like aunties and uncles.
Not at that point. Very quickly though, on the back of that was the point where my The year prior, I'd gotten an accordion from a grandma. I think I'd learned to play Schuchter music.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and she had passed away that year, sadly,
Yeah.
in 1984. But I had enough courage to pluck up the following year to ask, very early the following year, can I sell the accordion, please? I'm not really enjoying the lessons. It's a bit shit. I don't
I'm
like
sick
this.
of it.
That was wank, mate, right? I mean, you played this thing that charked your testicles in its concertina when you were playing. It's like, no, thank you. Right? It's just not for me, right? You know, everybody gets forced some form of musical instrument at some point in their life, don't they? So, I mean, I know Rick's was a Bolivian flute, but that's something else. But
Don't brag, mate. You didn't catch your knackers in that.
So anyway, I sold it for 40 quid back then, or my parents sold it on my behalf for 40 quid back then, and I was allowed to buy 4 Spectrum games with it, and that was my favourites: Avalon, Chucky Egg, Manic Miner, and Pyjamarama.
That's got to go down as one of the best lineups. You did so well choosing it.
So just on the hot on the heels of playing that bloody 6-pack, I got real man's games or real boys games. This is where the Spectrum was at, chaps.
Yeah. Oh, such good memories. And so, did, outside of the creeping down the stairs, I mean, did you have any, like, because I know different households have different traditions and things.
No, not too much for us, because simply my mum and my dad fell out with his parents when I was young. Big style, very spiteful, twisted people, from what I gather. They didn't even turn up to my mum and dad's wedding, one of these, and we asked her what happened to her, and she was busy doing the hoovering. So I never had that set of grandparents then, so I only had my mum's mum and dad. So up to that point, obviously my grandmother passing the year prior, they would always be brought up to our house. So Christmas for us was always at home with the family. Now for us now, we do exactly the same. If we have the capacity in the kitchen here, and I've got one of these extending dining tables so it stretches out for Christmas, and everybody. So we're kind of repeating the same things. Just getting the wife's mum, my mum and dad come down. My brother can fuck off in the sea. He's not welcome. He won't be here over my dead body, but that's another story. But my sister and her husband will be here. So yeah.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
So, what about you, G? What memories? You know, you've been taken back to your Christmas past. What traditions and any particular memories of your, ultimate toys and prezzies you perhaps got? Doesn't have to be gaming toys.
I think I was
like sex toys.
kind of really, I had lots of parcels from Love Honey all turn up.
Flossie the sheep.
Flossie the sheep.
Inflatable sheep. Yeah.
Oh dear. You should see what I bought myself this year. Anyway.
What, from Japan?
Yeah. Hope she hasn't got out of the crate. Feeding her well. Anyway, so for me, I from what I remember of like the Christmas parcel, it would start probably just after my birthday in June. If I'm honest, I'd start to gear myself up for Christmas.
Wow.
And I would be waiting, like thousands of children up and down the country, for like the Christmas Argos catalogue, the winter Argos.
That was so
catalogue.
Special, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was like, is it there? Then he like parents and mum went up to Ipswich where the Argos was. I was like, is there a new catalogue? Is there a new catalogue? Is there a new catalogue? No. But when there was, you kind of just run off and you'd go all the way through it. You'd be like, I want that, circle that. So
yeah, we all did that. It was great, wasn't it?
It started off with, you'd probably want the year's pay of your parents. You'd have things circled, wouldn't you? For what you'd, of what you'd wanted.
I love doing that now.
I was
I was just going to say, because Retromass, a friend of the show, he's got scans of all those Argus catalogues. I'll put it in the show notes, and I still get the same nostalgia just looking through those catalogues. And you always went to the back, didn't you? The toy section.
Yeah,
like ignore the rest. Yeah.
Lingerie.
That was a Littlewood's catalogue.
That's right.
You needed the proper stuff. Yeah.
The lingerie section was that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying yeah. So you were used to ring what you want.
Yeah. So to kind of ring what I'd want, I'd be invested in my presents from June all the way through, really, and sign them off. But also in the town there was a hobby shop, which was a bit highbrow, but it had like train sets and Scalextrics. And there was like Wakelin's toy shop, which had everything. So it was always wonderful to look around there. And had, for the time, good Christmas displays, and you'd go in and you'd be in awe of it, really. So I think as I was younger, like I'd have a lot of Action Men. I remember like for a few years I'd have had Action Men for Christmas presents. I had a Scalextrics one year, which was a double-edged sword, really, because you'd want it up all the time, but it didn't have space really. My bedroom wasn't that big to have it, and in like the living room, it was a case of back then, like Gordon just alluded to, everyone wanted Hoover. People used to Hoover like 3 or 4 times a day back then, didn't they? Probably the fag ash, wasn't it? That was on the floor.
It was.
All had to move. Had a pair of boxing gloves one year. I mean, it was and a punch bag, which was really good, but didn't have anywhere to put it really, so I had to put it outside, so you just get fucking cold hitting the punch bag, really.
Did the punch bag come in the same year? They didn't give you boxing gloves one year and then...
I got one glove for my birthday in June, and then I got the right hand glove for Christmas that year.
Redirecting G's sexual energy.
Yeah. But remember in like 81, I got Astro Wars. That was the present.
Such a great game. Yeah.
That I wanted. So I was like 13. That was the present I wanted. It was brilliant. I know that not long after that though, I got the Entex Galaxian 2. So I probably got that from, I can't think of you. It was another family member, but I got it just after Christmas, but before New Year. But that year I had a bike. The Astro Wars wasn't the main present. I was really lucky that year. Had this racing bike. I knew which one it was because I picked it out, and it had the gear shift on the handlebars, and as I picked it out in the shop, it was brilliant. And no, it was still brilliant, but by the time I got it for Christmas Day, my mum had mudguards put on it, the big steel ones that fucking weighed the bike, probably weighed as much as the bike. A stand,
so it wasn't so fast. Yeah,
a stand that I didn't want, and those sodden ever-ready lights that weighed a ton. It was like, take all of those off because we don't need any of them. Yeah, that was my mate James. We ran at his like probably late Christmas Day. He had ZX81. So he was like the first kid in my year with like a computer. So that was kind of a game changer, really, with that. So we looked at the blocky graphics. I'd have got mine in '82 when I was looking at that sometime. It would probably be June for my birthday if I'm being really honest about it. But yeah, I think Christmas back then, we had smaller Christmases, like Gordon said, a table that would extend out. There'd be a bit of bird's trifle would come out after the dinner, and it was quite a small family affair. I'm not big on my extended family, so I don't often speak to them. And I was lucky enough that my mum never made me mingle with too many of them, so that was good. So even if it was a big family gathering, that was normally on Boxing Day, and I'd just kind of mooch with my mates. And the good thing was the arcades would have been open on Boxing Day, so always would have gone down there on Boxing Day with that. I would have played with whatever toys I had, my mates round, and as an only child I used to get loads of presents that needed 2 people, which is always fun. So I remember having this Parker is this 5-a-side was it that part, Super Striker is a football game where you press the head down on the player and
I
kick the ball.
That. Yeah.
Which was great. I mean,
it's like a step up from Subbuteo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the lazy man Subbuteo. You didn't have to flick it, you just push down on it. So yeah, I would have would have done that. The TV at the time would have been, looking back on it, maybe quite dire. I think, but I mean, Morecambe and Wise, everyone watched. I think that was a national institution.
Yeah.
I just had a look at it. Coronation Street seemed to be huge. The whole Christmas Day used to stop for Coronation Street.
I used to hate, because I hated with the soaps. And of course, this is like often they wouldn't record it, so the TV was taken up by all these godforsaken soaps because both your nan, granddad, well, particularly your nan and your mum, God forbid they missed their the one of the soaps. It was a right pain.
They'd be waiting for it, wouldn't they? And like kids, we'd all have kind of an inkling of what we'd watch. I mean, there wasn't a great variety, so if there was a programme that we wanted to watch, there was a short window. You had to watch it. If not, it was it, wasn't it? It was gone. It was over with.
It was usually first thing in the morning. But for me, it was always the fight of trying to get the gaming on the TV, because for the longest time I didn't have a TV in the room. So it was, to try and play all these new games, often you couldn't until Boxing Day. Boxing Day was when you could truly enjoy the games, usually.
I think when I was a bit older, for Christmas, I'd moved out in '89. I treated myself to, I bought myself it because it was quite expensive, an Atari STE, and I got the power pack with it, and I bought a couple of other games alongside of it. But that, like when Gordon said about his game, there's a pack in there that had so many games with it. It was brilliant. I didn't have to buy that many games for months, really. So I did enjoy that. And I suppose another one that just pops out would have been, 1990, the year after, I'd imported my Super Nintendo. So I was
you had that for
Mario.
Christmas as well. Wow.
Yeah, it got there just. So I've got it very late November or very early December. I know I got it very soon after its release in Japan, but it would have been like the first week of December, the latest it would have been, and I was chuffed a bit to have that one.
Because that's the thing, I'm always amazed, like when you hear people, I mean, I realise that you bought them yourself, those, but when people get like gaming systems or computer systems at Christmas time, so there's no way my parents would have paid out like for a gaming system. You might be lucky for a video game. It was always the summer, because I mean, as we all know ourselves, Christmas is bloody expensive, isn't it? And if you've got multiple kids, it's to share it out, all that expense to everybody. It's a big outlay, isn't it? So I don't understand why they did that, but yeah.
I think now, if you've got 3 kids, you'll buy a Switch for the house, wouldn't you? You wouldn't buy an individual. Imagine if you had to buy 3, they all wanted their individual Switches. That's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, I guess and that's what you do, isn't it? You buy the Switch and then you perhaps get a game each for each kid, Yeah. But even that's bloody expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any particular traditions, G, or you had growing up that was perhaps unique from the norm or not?
No, I think like a lot of people, you make your own traditions of eating as much chocolate in Christmas morning as you can before dinner. That was something that I like to continue to this day. I don't see any reason to change a tradition such as that. Yeah, no, it's small Christmas. I suppose that's the bit that it's not a tradition; it's just like habit, really. But that sticks with me. And I was really lucky as an only child with a birthday in June, so it gave everyone a good 6 months to make sure that they celebrated my birthday and Christ's birthday in an adequate fashion.
Yeah. I do feel sorry for people. A neighbour had his birthday was on Christmas Day, and you always felt sorry for him because he'd basically get, you're getting a bigger present. And it never was. It was never really a birthday and Christmas all rolled into one.
It was a godsend.
Parents like, oh, thank God. Yeah. What about you then, Rick? So you've been dragged by Christmas Monty Mole back to your Christmas past. What traditions or any standout memories do you have?
Oh, blimey! You know what? It's kind of weird. I think as I've got older, all these memories have just disappeared.
It's called alcohol.
I think you might be right there, fella. But I think I'm kind of similar to G. I was an only child, but it was I was an only child because
Because I looked at you and went, "Fuck that! I'm not having
yeah,
another
fuck
one."
that, yeah. No,
Is this going to be a Batman Return thing?
no, I've got a half brother, and I remember it was probably until I was about 4. He lived with us, but then, like, you know what it's like with that sort of situation. Fractious things can happen. And my brother went to live with his nan and granddad when I was about 4. So I was technically an only child from that point on, really. But you know, I just remember I got one specific memory in mind for like the main sort of thing. But you know, it's just waking up in the morning. You know, you go to bed. And you're sort of, you know, you're trying to get to sleep and you're waiting for Santa to come down the fucking chimney or whatnot. And then you sort of, you close your eyes and then the next minute you wake up and there's a big fucking sack at the end of the bed. And you're like, oh, bang, bang. I grab the sack, go into my parents' room, Santa's been and blah de blah, and then you all trundle down the stairs in the freezing cold with the dog, turn the fire on, the gas fire, warm the bloody walls up and stuff, and then you all sit around and you know we do the one present thing at a time, you know, it's read who it's from and blah de blah, have fucking Cliff Richard on in the background. Some crappy thing on the telly in the background and whatnot, but and then it's kind of difficult because I really can't remember my single digit years Christmases. I remember one specific one in 1990 when I was probably 10 then, but I suppose that's not really single digits, but you know, the family would come round and we had this weird thing in our house where like we had this kind of when you walk into the house, you got the porch, and then you got what was supposed to be the front room, but because all the fireplaces had been blocked up, it was fucking ice cold in there all the time, you know. And there was nothing there, and then the next room had a gas fire in it, and we'd all go into the freezing cold bloody room for dinner where they put the dining table, and the grandparents would come round. And you'd have your Christmas dinner and that, like you know, it felt like a Sunday where, you know, your old man would piss off down the pub, getting pissed with the granddad or whatever else, and you'd be sitting there after opening your presents or opening some of your presents, and then waiting for the grandparents to bring your presents over and all that sort of lark. And we'd all have Christmas dinner around the pub. The old people were pissed and blah de blah, and yeah, it was okay. You know, it was fun. It was a good time, and I think in terms of like the sort of my single digit years, the one I remember most vividly, was the summer before, obviously Christmas in 1990. My mate Barry down the road, he got a Sega Mega Drive with the Barcelona Olympic Gold game.
Oh yeah.
And Sonic 1, and we were smashing that through. Yeah, we were smashing that through the summer. And I was bugging my parents because at the time I had the C64. And I was bugging my parents, I want a Sega Mega Drive. And, you know, I was waking up at fucking 2 a.m, needing a piss, and I'd meet my mum on the stairs or something. I said, I want a Sega Mega Drive. And it came to obviously close to Christmas, and I saw the Christmas tree on top of the VHS player, or on top of the like basically got a big fucking Toshiba 28-inch television, with the big wooden panels on it and blah blah blah.
Pretty deluxe, isn't it? Yeah.
On a wanky TV stand, you know what I mean? And then the Christmas tree perched on top of the Betamax. Sorry, it probably was Betamax still even then. And I saw this big old package there, and I thought, oh, that's got to be my Sega Mega Drive, isn't it? That's my Sega Mega Drive. I can't wait. I can counting down the days to Christmas, opening me little bloody calendar, advent calendar that my mum had bought me in bedroom and that, and eating the chocolates out of that. And then, you know, you get to Christmas Day, you wake up in the morning, I bugger these presents on the bed, I want to get down and open the Sega Mega Drive. And then you steam down the stairs, push the dog out of the way and everything, and then you're opening your presents, and then you get to your big one. And I opened the big one, and as I started peeling away the wrapping paper, I saw Nintendo. I thought, what the fuck is going on here? and it turned out to be a Game Boy.
Oh, beautiful machine though.
And at the time, actually, it's funny. I got when the grandparents came around later, I opened up one of their presents, and it was Michael Jackson's "Dangerous" cassette. So, like, my big presents of that year was the Game Boy with Tetris, and Michael Jackson "Dangerous." And I love that tape. I play it to this day, and
and the Game Boy and Tetris. I mean, it was fantastic. It was people perhaps younger than all of us probably don't realise how, I mean, before you had fantastic things with like the Astro Wars and things that G was alluding to, but to finally have it was a proper games.
Yeah,
that you could swap the cartridges was just really, really impressive, wasn't it?
It was great, man. Like I think I remember like 2 or 3 years earlier. I remember my one of my cousins got the Lynx, and it looked okay, and I quite liked the look of the Lynx back then, because it was quite impressive, really. The Lynx when it came out, wasn't it? Really?
Oh yeah, very impressive machine.
And but it was a bit unwieldy, wasn't it? And a bit large and whatnot. Yeah.
Battery gobbler. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the Game Boy, and I think the reason why my parents got me a Game Boy was because they were buying me these like Tiger, what do you want to call it? Like a little LCD handhelds.
Yeah.
And I was building with cardboard and stuff with my limited skills, building cardboard magnifiers and stuff to try and make the screen bigger, silly things like that, and lights. I was putting Christmas lights inside bits of cardboard to light up the Tiger things. So I think maybe I'd seen things in magazines where I saw a Game Boy with the light or something, and I was trying to build that for my Tiger stuff and all that lark. And I got the Game Boy, and I was a bit disappointed, but as the Christmas day went on and the Queen's speech came on and bloody blah, I was sitting there playing Tetris intently, and that earworm, that music, that's so well known was embedded in my skull, and then I think what makes it kind of better is that obviously one of my mates in the next road down, he also got a Game Boy. And we got the link
cable.
That's right. We went down to I don't know where it would have been. It was either Blockbusters or bloody Woolworths or something. And we went and put our little bit of Christmas money we had together, and we put it together and bought a link cable. And it takes on a different level when you got the link cable going on Tetris. You get the Mario music and all sorts going on, and it turned out to be really good in the end. I do have a soft spot for the Game Boy. I really thought it was a really nice little unit. It was pretty good on the batteries. The games were solid. It's the only Nintendo device I've ever owned in that period. When it was happening. It's the only Nintendo device I'd ever owned. So it was it was a cool little system. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's quite special with that. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a similar thing. You go down the stairs. The presents were always downstairs in our household, and you had your main presents in the morning, and we were always told we couldn't go downstairs until 6 a.m. But I could never understand from because my brother was 10 years older than me. And my sister was 7 years older than me. So I could never understand why they weren't as excited on Christmas morning. And now I realise they were hungover. But yeah, it was a real job. And what was frustrating, you had to get everybody up. I wasn't allowed to open the presents until everybody was downstairs. My dad had set up the video camera, which seemed to take ages. So you were just like fizzing, trying, and then it was just like a free-for-all, opening up all the presents and excitedly going through. But one of the rituals that they did in our household, which I thought was quite cute, is after Christmas lunch, you would have the Christmas presents under the tree. So they were like smaller presents that you would open up. And that was great because it sort of stretched it out, and you always knew that perhaps there'd be like some of the budget games or something might be there, video games. And I always got an annual, so like the Wizard and Chips annual typically, and that was just like awesome because that's actually some of my fondest memories is like, you know, after the Christmas lunch, reading through like the latest Wizard and Chip annual for that year, you know, and it was just so wonderful, such fond memories of it. And then of course you're right, in the evenings you'd have basically for the next week, isn't it, everybody was still eating cold buffet turkey and stuff. It was always a cold buffet in the evening. But we also used to play after tea, which I sort of lament I don't really, you know, Joya and Molly have never been into like board games or anything. But I used to love, after tea, we always used to do card games, play card games and board games. You know, it'd be like often did the big board games in the evening on Boxing Day usually. But playing the card games like, does anyone know Queenie or Chase the Ace? Quite simple games.
No name,
Yeah, but that was just exciting as a kid. It was a wonderful memories with it all. I'm like you. I mean, I never got any big computer stuff for Christmas, but I always used to get video games. My sister was always really good. She got me she got me for one Christmas Garfield Big Fat Hairy Deal, which I was a huge Garfield fan. I used to collect up all the still am used to collect up all the Garfield video specials as a kid. And obviously Garfield Big Fat Hairy Deal on the Spectrum was just like watching the cartoon come to life, wasn't it? It was so special. We've covered it, haven't we, Kingy, on our Elite episode. And another one that she got me one Christmas was Dr. Franken, which was fantastic. She was just really good at choosing games. I mean, that's a Game Boy game. Again, we've covered it on a Halloween special. Still really special to me. And that's just an amazing, quite an in-depth adventure. It's amazing what they squeezed in with fantastic Game Boy graphics. I mean, if you're watching the video version, you'll get a sense of what it looks like. But it's really, really good. But the fondest memory I have, and I know I've said this before, so I'll be brief, but was I got the Wheels of Fire compilation on the Spectrum. And that
another one we covered.
That had Turbo Outrun, that had Power Drift in it, it had Hard Drive in. What was the other one? I'm trying to think now.
Chase HQ?
Chase HQ, and particularly Chase HQ was amazing on the Spectrum, wasn't it? I mean, I think everybody who got a Spectrum loves.
Banging, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I just, you know, it was excitement whenever I got any of these games on the Spectrum or whatever. You know, particularly in the Spectrum days, in the early days, until I had a TV in my bedroom, or even when I had a TV in the bedroom, it was black and white. So the excitement of playing it downstairs in between all the soaps, to have it on a colour TV was just like, that made it doubly exciting. But yeah, you know, playing Chase HQ in particular, they're such fond memories. And I was probably like you, I got loads of Star Wars toys. It usually often was Star Wars toys for Christmas, and often got board games. And I realise now, you know, things like I've covered before, but Crossbows and Catapults, Valley of the Dinosaurs, Escape from Atlantis. Do you remember Tomy Electronic Football? Yeah. Reminded me with that. Yeah, I got that one Christmas. That was awesome. It was like little wheels, and you would like sort of dials, wasn't it? You had dials to control the players, and you could move them up and down and spin. It's such a good board game there. And the last one was Tomy Atomic Pinball. To have like a pinball table, it's still very, very good. They're quite sought after, aren't they? The atomic pinball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were well, so they've all lasted. That's the thing. They were, even Tommy was a cheap manufacturer. These things were still pretty robust.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was such fond memories with all of those, and it's like that viewfinder. You know, the little, you used to get I'd always get like a different wheel to look through.
Yeah.
Just simple things, but you just like, it impressed you as a kid, didn't it? You know, actually, one of the things I was going to say is I've been collecting up a lot of retro or video TV adverts for Christmas for the video that I'm going to edit for this show. And it just made me realise, it just made me miss that world of physical items. And, it's the day before tablets or phones when everybody's like looking at their phones. And it was just a special time, wasn't it? And, a time when like buying a DVD or something or a VHS tape was of a film and being able to see, what might be several years old film, but actually owning it was exciting, wasn't it? Now... The concept of buying things physically is out the window.
It's
really,
diminishing. You're right, because for most boys, especially, I'm not being sexist. There's plenty of gaming girls as well, but most boys of a certain age, like my own son. I mean, well, I'll give him his due. He never, because he's got Game Pass for his Xbox. He's happy with that.
Yeah.
Very seldom. So you can't buy him a gift off a game or credit for Xbox because. It's just nothing he wants to buy for it because of such offerings like Game Pass. Lucky he's into his drumming, and that's cost us a fortune buying snare drums and extra toms and cymbals. Thanks to our good friend and listener of the show, Darren Snarcade in the Discord channel. He's a manager of drumshop.co.uk. My God, his Christmas bonus will be very high this year. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right with that. It's changed the tactile nature of Christmas. Whether it be stocking fillers like Slinkies or Rubik's Cubes or Rubik's Snakes, the Chinese puzzles that you would get, even the things in crackers, even playing with the... If you were to say what your favourite thing was that you got in a Christmas cracker, I'm sure everyone would say the fortune-telling fish, right?
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Yes, it's cuddling up my hand. It says I'm a sex god at 5-year-old, or whatever.
You could use that on the laser lock, couldn't you?
But it's all gone. Kids aren't interested in that kind of thing anymore. It's all
they
just...
can be, isn't it? I mean,
it's a parental thing, isn't it? We encourage our kids to do so. We still do that for our son, as stocking fillers of silly things, like let's put a water pistol in his stocking and or a spud gun, or you can buy these nostalgic toys yet, and they still exist. You see them in Sainsbury's, and Tesco's don't sell them, Garron. I don't know what Tesco's problem is, but that's. But yeah, I try to still have that event in the house where there's fidgety things or just things to enjoy. A board game. For many years, buy maybe a family board game. It's not a gift to an individual. We'll leave it for him to open, but
it's for everybody.
It's a gift to the house, so we can all sit down. Like a few years back, we bought Labyrinth, right, which is absolutely brilliant to play with, the sliding tiles and the
Is that
the
with
maze.
the ball that you take down the path, or am I thinking something else?
No, Labyrinth is a board game. It's an RPG board game where all the tiles and walls move and you have to get the treasures. But
is it based on the David Bowie film, or is that something else?
No, before that it predates it. It. It's sold millions of copies. None of you's played this. Garron, you've been to play this, mate.
No.
Oh, goodness.
He's played Dungeon Master, though.
Right, it's a Dungeon Mastery type game. It's brilliant. You need to. We'll put it on the show notes anyway.
I need to. Well, I'm looking forward to try and track down the video of it so I can see it. So, oh no, that's awesome. No, I miss playing board games. As I say,
board games at Christmas is a big part of it. I'm with you there, mate.
But I tried it. It's just. I mean, maybe it's I can't see it as a cultural thing because obviously my wife and daughter are Filipina, but they've just never been interested in it.
They're city girls. That's their problem. It's nothing to do with their cultural heritage. The Brum has Brumified them.
Well, before that we were in Manila, so they've always been city girls. But I miss to the point where I was planning to. I was thinking about just buying two packs of playing cards and try and do Queen. I'll
come down. I tell you what, Christmas Day, me and Charlie comes down, right? And we'll play card games and some beer. How does that? Bottle of whiskey. Bottle of nice whiskey.
Do you know well, I've got nice whiskey in actually, so we're sorted. I realised the other day I've not even opened properly apart from to like look in it. My Hero Quest. Remember, I bought it like a couple of years ago now.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah, it's just, but there's just nobody to play with me.
Right, here with your Hero Quest and stuff like that, I told you, webcam,
Yeah.
you're the Dungeon Master, you can move, not that square, we'll tell you where to move it.
Well,
Split
that's good.
personality.
Yeah, sorry, I got worried when you said about webcam. I thought it was going to go
Yeah, he's a
weird
different
direction.
type of dungeon master on his webcam, lads, isn't he?
I'll play with you for $50.
I was getting the Gimp Master ready.
We're getting into his OnlyFans territory now.
But yeah, no, it is. It's special. Well, let's. Is there any more we want to say about our Christmas pass before we
I think
get
we've
the
said
ghost? Yeah. So shall we get the humbly ask the ghost of Christmas present to take us through what we're doing the Christmas this year? I'll call him in.
Tremble, puny mortals, for I am Kratos Kringle, the gaming spirit of Christmas present. Cower before me, you puny beings, as I take you through to your Christmas present.
Right. Okay. So
That voice was even
Kringle-
more creepier than the previous Monty Moore one, mate.
Yeah. So he's wearing the Gimp mask. That's why. It's like Bane, isn't it? Yeah. From.
You can't use a safe word when you got one of these on.
So we're in our Christmas this year. So I'll start with you, Rick, for a change. Have you treated yourself to anything this Christmas?
No, mate. It's lean in the Yaxley household this year.
Yeah. It's the way it should be, isn't it, really? I mean, it's crazy the money we sort of like spend at Christmas. But you've not treated yourself to any little toy or anything?
Oh no, not really, mate. I'm just sticking. It's with the boy and that, you know. Just keeping the pennies aside for him. But I've got my arcade machine that I can reminisce on and play and all that type of thing. Really, yeah. It's just difficult times at the moment, isn't it? With everything going on, it's a bit of a bugger. Yeah. But I really all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it's my boy's first Christmas, so it's to be honest, like
it's for kids.
It's cliche, but it's like seeing his little face is enough of a Christmas present for me, if you know what I mean.
No, 100%. I'm the same way. I go crazy buying for baby Mira. You know, not so much a baby anymore, but yeah, 4-year-old Mira. Is there any particular sort of like Christmas games you do as a tradition, or like Christmas themed games, or just games you always play at Christmas?
Yeah, I suppose. What are we doing? We're doing a round robin, and we're going round, or
it depends how many you got.
Well, I've only got 3. I know for 4. One of you's already picked Holiday Lemmings, haven't you? But I suppose that would have been my first one.
Well,
but,
no, you talk about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it was. What would it have been? I think it was 93.
Yeah, 93.
And
it came out a couple of years.
That's right. It was 2 different versions, wasn't there, of Holiday Lemmings? I think it was a Christmas Lemmings as well, wasn't there? If I'm not mistaken. But I remember it was probably back in 93, and it was around my birthday, which is November. and or it might have been very early December, and you know what it's like. Sometimes your parents have their kids to their workplace, don't they? And I remember going to my mum when she worked in Lewisham or Catford, or Lewisham Council, but it was in Catford. And I remember just sort of like sitting there and saying hello to all her work colleagues and stuff. And I think I spent the entire day writing a guide to playing Street Fighter 2 on the computer and printing it out. And after that, we went down to the town, the sort of mall, and I think we went into WH Smith's. At that time I had the Amiga, and I saw Holiday Lemmings 93 in the nice sort of big box with the sort of gold, it looked like a Christmas package, didn't it? It looked like a Christmas gift wrapped box on the Amiga, and I said to Mum, I really want that, and she bought that for me, and I didn't have to wait for Christmas for that. She just gave it to me at the time as like probably a late birthday present or whatnot. But Christmas Lemmings or Holiday Lemmings, whichever you want to call it, it's a fantastic, because I love Lemmings to death. It was one of them games that I think probably pretty much everyone really enjoyed, whether they played it on the Mega Drive or whatnot, or whatever else they played it on. But for me, the Amiga, Lemmings was an event on the Amiga. It was,
it's good, isn't it? Because I mean, and basically, to those who have never played Holiday Lemmings, it's just normal Lemmings, but they sort of pixel. The graphics have been changed, so the exit is like a Christmas pudding.
That's
right. And all the little lemmings have like Christmas outfits on with the Christmas hat.
A little bit of a palette swap,
Yeah, but what was great, probably the best thing about it, and the reason I always play Holiday Lemmings, because it just gets me not only in that nostalgic feels, but it's got all the sort of like really funky versions of all the Christmas carols.
The carols, they're really nicely done, aren't they?
They're really nicely done, and because often like listening to Christmas music drives me nuts after but yeah, listening to Holiday Lemmings Christmas music is perfect for me. So great choice with that. What were the other ones you chose?
I chose Snow Brothers. We're going into Tower Plan territory again.
Dangerously close to Warner.
Dangerously close to Warner. But no, it's Tower Plan's version of Bubble Bobble, isn't it? And it's got that sort of Christmassy feel with snowmen and they look a bit psychotic, but
they do look a bit psychotic.
It's all good fun, isn't it? And there's a pretty good Amiga port of that, which was am I correct in thinking that was a game that was not released?
It didn't get released.
That's right, and it's done it since, and it's a very good version, isn't it? And it's just if you like your Bubble Bobble, it's a game that sits right in there, isn't it?
Yeah,
with that type of thing. And I suppose the last game would be really it'd be Tetris, because it's the game I remember most fondly. I think it's the only time getting the Game Boy was the only time I actually got a console for Christmas, because my birthday is November the 21st. I got a lot of my computers then, if that makes sense. So I got sort of software and stuff in Christmas and whatnot for those machines, I suppose. So just sitting there playing Tetris. Yeah, great days. Yeah, great days.
Choices. What about you, G? What about you? Any games you play at Christmas? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always play log into World of Warcraft every Christmas Day. There is a event, I don't call it Christmas, and there's like Great Father Midwinter. He'll sit down and you'll get sort of different presents underneath this big tree in one of the capital cities. So also gone get what other little toys they have for in-game on there. Remember one year it was like a little train set, and only if you were in a group it would go like chugga 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 choo choo, and everyone would dance, and it became so annoying they had to release another toy that would break the train set just to stop it, because it was it got that bad. There's loads of quests, and you do that. So I think I've been playing about 18 years now, so I'll always log into that Christmas Day. You come about 10 minutes, do those bits and log out, and it's got a whole kind of 3-week long event, so always do that on WoW. I won't play on the day, but on the lead up I will always have a go on Death Smiles 2.
Oh yeah, nice.
Which is Christmas themed. It's now out on the Switch, and I think it's called like Blissful Christmas on the English
blimey.
translation.
Nice. I might pick that up actually.
Yeah, it's there's a package with like 1 and 2. Or you get it digital, so you can actually get the cart, and it did have strictly limited games released. So one of the ones where you pay them a lot of money, and sometime in the distant future they deliver something to you. But it's
Several years in the future. Yeah.
You
They're
then
good, the
forget.
Death Smiles games, aren't they? Because they're quite... Sorry, G. They're in terms of the bullet hell style, they're actually fairly forgiving, aren't they? They're quite fun to play and not too difficult, aren't they?
Yeah, and 2's really good. It's got lots of Christmas-themed gameplay. So I forgot what the name of the boss is, but like Satan with it. But there's loads of Christmas theme in it. There's the first boss is like a large reindeer. The houses in the background have Satan claws. That was it. The houses in the background have all got their Christmas lights on, and you play like one of the angels. Even the cover art has got a Christmas tree on it. So yeah, I like that. It's one of those ones that is a Christmas game without kind of being a real Christmas game.
Nice choice. Yeah.
I will try and get around to play a bit of Mario Wonder. Obviously working in retail.
Oh, you need to play Mario Wonder. I've played that through to Mario Wonder. Played that through to completion now. And I would say that that's been the game of the year by far.
That's my Christmas present to myself. I've been holding off to play it.
You've done well.
I want a new game to play around Christmas time.
It's the first game, I think, in a couple of years, if not longer, I've had it delivered and I've played it on the same day.
Wow. Yeah.
I wanted to play it that much. I normally like have a games and we'll look at it, and somebody just bung away to one side and get round to it. But I played it on the first day, so I'd want to do that. And I've got a box on the way, winging its way here from Japan, with a couple of shooting books in there. So I'll look at the pretty pictures in that. And I've got a Beep edition, like a shop in Akihabara, of Dodonpachi DOJ, the Switch release of that, and a few goodies in that. And there's a couple of other games in it, but they've been out a little while now, so just coming through. So I will be playing those sort of like after Christmas. Before Christmas is fun. That's all I can say. Like, as I said to you earlier, like the all the fridges in my shop went down, so I've just been trying to. Oh no! When you guys have been talking, just been like contacting them about that. I will this year be watching, and I watched today Bluey's Christmas Special. So
there's a Bluey Christmas Special. I love Bluey.
But how they do how they do the holiday down under. I watched that, and Bing's Advent Calendar. That was there today, so been into those. That's been good, and I've been getting Bradley into Home Alone 1 and 2, so we've watched those this week.
Oh, nice.
And I'll kick my way into gear. I will watch Trading Places. I think it is.
I've already watched mine. Yeah, that's one I always watch over around Christmas time.
So it's not really a Christmas movie, but I mean Dan Aykroyd's as Santa, and there's a lot of it around Santa there,
and also a gorgeous Jamie Lee Curtis.
At a peak. And I watched, I think it was last year, it came out on Netflix, Click and Collect, got Steve Merchant in it. And I think he ran it. They're and it's got the guy from Some People Just Do Nothing, he's a brilliant actor. So funny, but they're after Sparkle Hoof for Unicorn, and he has to go like from London to Carlisle to get it. It's like this road trip buddy movie and everything. So that's good.
No, that's cool.
I will try, and hopefully they'll come on. If not, I'll track them down. The Royal Family Christmas specials, I like those with Denise's smashed carrots. always makes me laugh.
It's something that is sort of weird, isn't it? You don't seem to get the same level of Christmas specials anymore.
No, I think I liked the Gavin and Stacey one a few years ago, where he wrapped some people's presents in tin foil. So I've done that a couple of times with an awkward present. Just wrap it in tin foil and go, there you go. So yeah, Smithy's bit there, my hero.
Well, what about you then, Kingy? Have you treated yourself to any toys this Christmas? Or
I have bought myself. It's boring, but it's not. It's back to your point. I've actually bought something digital for myself, and it's a new VST synth for my audio software, and it's a bought and paid for Commodore 64 SID VST. Wow. Because I always make music for my mates' games, and I've been using free Commodore ones because there's no I would love an AY chip one as well, you know, and just make the best of both worlds, make a hybrid.
So I thought you
of
had
it.
an AY thing. Was that
There,
just
there
a
are
software?
that was always the Commodore one I've used. I just
okay.
use the sounds on that. They sound more AY-ish rather than the dirty sort of more distorted bassy sounds. It can also warble as well. It's a very versatile chip, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was always the SID chip I use because I just can't get one that simulates that Spectrum and Amstrad AY sound, you know. There's some out there, but I just can't use them. So anyway,
What's that one that I swear you introduced me to one, Kingy, a little while ago. What do you want to call it? A sequencer that you can either have 6 or 3 channels in. It's basically like a standalone piece of software. Do you remember that one at all? I can't remember the.
I
bloody
do
name
remember
of it now.
sending you that, but I can't remember what it is because I've never
Bugger,
went
I
back
can't
to
remember what
it.
it is, but it's a pretty good little AY emulator, so to speak. And you
Yeah,
can
that's
save it
right. I
out to
did do
play
that.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it was good. But no, I'm happy with this. And to be honest, even though I paid for this now and it is really good and it's better, it actually has showed me how good the free versions actually were. That you go, should have wasted that money. But no, it's still a good expenditure. I'm happy with it. So I'll be toying with that over the festive period because I just love when I'm on holiday and I've no the ties with work and mind on work, or you come home after a head fuck off a day basically at work and you're just not in the mood to be creative. There's a lot of things to put in a funk to kill creativity overall, and at Christmas time, hangovers aside, you just get up and go, right, it's dark outside, the weather's bump, I'm just going to be creative today, make some tunes and music and play with it. So I'm really looking forward to that, to be honest, just to make some chip tunes.
Yeah, it's nice doing creative stuff, and I'm looking forward to when you're. Is he any idea when we're going to see the game? Is it going to be the sequel to that?
Captain McCaw. He's working on that, but that's slightly on the shelf. There's a game called Labyrinth of Lights coming out. It's a bit like VVVVV, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that coming out, and this is the music I'm going to be working on over the next few months for this game, and then back to the new Captain McCaw Dizzy-like game for those that have not played it. So yeah, and there's a mate of mine's doing a scuba dive remake, so I'm needing to do a kind of underwater type theme type music for that as well. So that's it. It's written already.
There you go, sorted.
It's all done.
Just record.
Thank you very much.
Just take it from the podcast. And
Smooth McGroove. Yeah, it was Vortex Tracker. That one you sent me, Kingy. Vortex.
Yes, it was. It was Vortex. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's amazing what things you forget in time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Insane.
So there's no like Christmas games or anything you play as a tradition, or
yes, Rhino Hero.
Rhino Hero. What's that?
Rhino Hero, yeah, you can check it. It is a stacking game, so a bit like House of Cards, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have a rhino, and depending how the cards are shuffled, just play cards. There's a base card, and you have to. That's the foundation, and that card then shows the formation of the cards you need to put on top to stack. So it could be 2 V's or a single V or a square, right? The cards fold in different ways. It's hard to explain. Right?
It's physical, is it? It's not a video game.
It's physical. It's a small, like Exploding Kittens game. It's that kind of size of a box.
Yeah.
You've seen
Oh,
that.
that's good. It's got nothing to do with Kevin Spacey then, yeah.
No, nothing to do with sex pests, right? So, and so it's a bit like Jenga in some ways. So you have the little rhino guy as a little figurine, and if there's a dot on the particular card you're doing as the next foundation card, if you want, you have to place him on it and move him. So the idea is to tower up the cards as high as you can without spilling the whole thing, and Rhino Hero falls to his death. Really good game. It's really good. It's really enjoyable. Always like that. Sam, my son, he still loves Labyrinth, as like I'd mentioned earlier there. And we've not. I think because he's a bit older now, we've not bought a board game in a few years because video games killed the board game. And the Buggles need to sing about that, really, don't they? And reword the lyrics towards that. But what was a good one? Is even putting a Mario Party on the Switch. It is a board game. That's what it is, and
It is. It's a good lot of fun, isn't it?
It is a good fun, but I do miss, whether it be Game of Life, Monopoly, Cluedo. There's something to me very special about the
Has
board
he ever
game
tried
world.
Hero Quest? Or because I noticed
He loves Hero Quest.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves it. They're in his room. He's stolen them from me, and he's repainted all the figurines because he's got Warhammer, and he loves painting the figures for that. So
that's cool.
Wicked.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it gets a bit tiring when you're playing it with two people. It's best
you do
with
need more,
a full
isn't it?
house,
Yeah.
a full house, and there's something about. I mean, as much as the classic Waddington's board games are eternal,
Yeah.
Hero Quest will always be the best board game ever made, in my opinion.
But that's the thing, isn't it? With all the board games, you need at least 4 people really for it to shine, and it's very difficult to find 4 people in today's world.
In today's world,
Certainly
with
a
divorces, separated marriages, and even people actually having less children in a family because I can't afford 3 kids, I'll have one, and I'm making light of that, but to be honest, it's true.
No, it is true. Yeah, no. For me, I've been playing a lot of new to me at least, and some of them new releases of games. So I've been there's a game that you can get for pay what you want on itch.io called Crimbo on the Amiga. And it was originally on the Spectrum. I mean, these are like a homebrew game that came out a few years ago on the Spectrum. And it's a really rock hard single screen. You basically jump round the single screen level, collecting up the wrapped presents. Typical affair, but it's got a great funky tune playing in the background, and I've been having real fun playing that. It's a lovely version. But my word, it's sort of like Meat Boy level hard platforming, really. But yeah, very, very good. I also played Arctic Attack. That's basically it's Attic Attack on the Spectrum, but somebody's like colour swapped and graphic swapped, so it's like a Christmas tree on the side where the turkey is, which because you've got the turkey already there, haven't you? And they've changed some of the characters, and again you've got like a Christmas music sort of playing, so that's been a lot of fun. Holiday Lemmings, which you mentioned, that's always play those 3. The other one that was new to me, which was called Jetpack, but not Jetpack spelt like the one that we love with the C, CK, and Xmas Special, and it basically it was a thing that was on AOL. Do you remember like you had like in the gaming library in the early days of the internet? Totally passed me by. I mean, I went very quickly to broadband as soon as I could. I paid beyond things like AOL. And we didn't really have it over here, obviously AOL, that much. But it's a really fun. Again, you have a jetpack, but it's a platformer basically, and it's going around collecting the things. Now it's free. You can find it for free. I'll put it in the show notes. But it's another really fun because the Xmas Special is obviously all Christmas themed. I've been having a lot of fun with that. And the last 2 games that I always play at Christmas. One is Christmas Monty Mole, which was like the cover tape came out. That's just so much fun to play. And also, I always play Fire and Ice. There was a Christmas version,
absolutely, yeah.
But Fire and Ice is just gorgeous, and particularly on the CD32 version, the CD soundtrack. I mean, it's wonderful on the Amiga. Don't get me wrong, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But the CD soundtrack is just so Christmassy and beautiful. Playing the opening levels of that just gets me in the Christmas cheer. You
know what I play? I missed a couple out there. For me on Christmas Eve, and there's something for me when everything's settled and the wife. Well, she used to work shifts and now she's back working shifts. So she's got off this year. She'll be night shift next Christmas. I'm like yes, it's like fucking. But point. Sorry, did I sound a bit enthusiastic about that?
Just a touch.
Get in there.
I'm glad she
full of
doesn't
the
listen
Christmas
to this.
cheer, aren't you?
Yeah.
These gaming Christmas spirits, they're not turning you from being a Scrooge.
No. But what I do love is just a couple of glasses of whiskey, right? I've done this for the last 20 odd years. There's
hell.
something about a point and click adventure. You're a cheeky shit. A point and click adventure. Now, I have this partiality to Simon Sorcerer because it's like Panto on Christmas Eve. It's like, even though you know all the words and whatnot, right? So I'll either fire up that or Monkey Island, or I might want to go into even Indiana Jones or Flight of the Amazon Queen, Legends of Carandia. The classic, lovely pixel drawn point and click adventures. There's just something about the presents are all done, the pre-prep for the meals done. I can chill out and enjoy that point and click, and I still do that yet.
Oh, it's nice. And actually, you saying that because I'm very tempted. I might pick up that Lucy Dreaming finally, which is another. It's a modern one, but it's reminds me very much of Simon the Sorcerer. It's clearly done by UK developers, and so it's like set in English pubs and things, and obviously English voice. Yeah, that'd be nice to get my teeth into over Christmas into a newer point and click adventure.
Yeah, I'm wanting to really get back into them again. I thought I would never need another genre again at that point when they were the rage on the Amiga, and I was loving them. Why would I want to play anything else? And I've in some ways, last year I played Sam & Max and enjoyed that. Thoroughly reconnecting with that again. But I don't know. It's like my attention spans went bad. For these kind of things. I don't want to read all the dialogue. No, I should chill and just relax and enjoy the dialogue. It doesn't need to have the voice acting because, I was so used to not having CD audio in games, especially back in the Amiga days anyway, that you made the voices up in your own head and how they sounded, you know what I mean? You got the sarcasm. You read the sarcasm. You didn't need a nuanced actor to portray...
Oh, darling!
It was good with Simon the Sorcerer when you heard like Chris Barry, isn't it?
Chris Barry, yeah.
He did a good job. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. The reality though is, I think for me, is as much as I like the idea of that, I just know around Christmas because you got people around and even outside of that, there'd be like 1,000,001 tasks that the missus will send me on my own like point and click quests. Go to the shop.
Go
get
to
item
the
X,
pub.
Y, and Z. Yeah. Oh, I wish I'd be told to that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, darling. I went to the pub by accident.
Yeah, doing my own quest. Yeah, but I know what you mean with that. So going to you then, Rick. Is I know G had already sort of touched on a few things he likes to watch, but is there any like ones special to you that you watch on Christmas episodes or films?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think just quickly in terms of like not Christmas related, but firm favourites of Christmas in terms of movies, for example, would be Clash of the Titans, the Vikings, Jason and the Argonauts, and things like that. But
I've got those on Blu-ray. I love watching.
Oh, they're banging, aren't they? They're all classics. They're all really good fun. They're all childhood favourites, aren't they? But in terms of Christmas, really big one that came out in '83 would have been Mickey's Christmas Carol. I used to watch that religiously. I used to watch it religiously. It's the classic Bob Cratchit, the free ghost story, isn't it? Done with the Disney characters, the Scrooge McDuck and Mickey Mouse, and it's just I can't wait to show my little boy it because I loved it so much.
It's quite magical. I mean, one of the things I did when I was an uncle for like my nieces and nephews and that was I used to record because I had at that point. Even though it's still VHS tapes, but I had the ability to download and find some of these things, and you had like Sky TV and things. So I made made a sort of like Christmas tape worth of things. But that one that you said, the Mickey Christmas Carol, was an absolute favourite of all the kids' Christmas shows that I'd put on for them.
They all loved it.
That was the one that they always went to. Yeah, special.
It's classic Disney, isn't it? It's proper Disney.
It's no Wish, put it that way.
Yeah,
it's proper Disney. Good animation and magical. Yeah.
It's on point. It's really good fun. Then second, I'd go for Blackadder's Christmas Carol.
The cynical version of the story.
The opposite way round, isn't it? He's like a really generous sort of really happy-go-lucky type of bloke, and then as things get going, it all reverses, doesn't it? He becomes a right bastard. Like, fuck this, sod this world. I'm going to be a right bastard. But
is it wrong that the older I get, the more
cynical,
the more I think that Scrooge had a point.
Yeah, it's kind of funny in that way, but it's something that you don't see that often, like the Blackadder Christmas. Christmas
it's
stuff.
not one of their best, to be honest. But I do. It's
it's just a Christmas little oddity, isn't it?
It is. It's fun.
I love the series.
I
love the series so much that I will watch that at Christmas. It's kind of difficult because there's so many good ones, but I suppose my last sort of like premium Christmas episode type situation would be the bottom episode, Holy.
That's so funny.
It's so fun, man. I remember my brother, like in the late, I think it was when was it? When would it have been? Like mid to late 90s, I think it was. He got me when DVDs were a thing. He got me the two bottom DVDs with the bottom fluffs on it and all that sort of lark, and they had the extended versions of certain episodes on those discs, and bottom Holy had an extended version with when Richie had brought Eddie his Christmas sort of self-portrait, and Eddie was trying to tell him where to hang it and stuff, and
the baby Jesus, isn't it?
That's right. He thinks he's the Mary because he's never had a shag and all that stuff.
It's like they give a gift, isn't it? And it's like
gold Frankenstein and Gurr.
Gurr instead of
he could have my Frankenstein mask that I was going to scare the shit out of Richie with later. It's such a fun episode, man. It's a great episode. Bottoms. I watch Bottom regularly. Like it's so funny. It still creases me up today. But so that's one. And then the last, well, sort of second to last, I suppose. I mentioned another one, but I do quite have a penchant for the old South Park Christmas episodes. Like
they're brutal, aren't they?
Some of them, they're proper. They're proper, like they're dirty. Like the what is it, Mr. Hankey's Christmas Special, I think. Where they're singing like Christmas carols in a really really sort of cynical way. That's quite funny. And Red Sleigh Down is quite a good one as well, where Santa's been shot down over Iraq. It's a bit political, but it is funny. It is funny.
They are great choices.
Yeah, and I think the last ones are sort of like a nice memory from back in the day would have been the Harry Enfield Christmas episodes, the specials from Harry Enfield. I always remember my favourite characters from Harry Enfield were the old gits. They were my favourites, and at the end of the episode, they'd all be in the church, and the old gits would be taking a piss out of everyone, and I think that's probably what I'm going to be like when I'm that age.
Yeah. I do miss these Christmas specials. There were some classics, weren't there?
For sure.
Yeah. What about you, Kingy? What do you got any faves over?
I mean the trouble for me is, like Rick mentioned, many of the classics. Obviously, the Clash of the Titans, Jason Argonauts. These are all spectacular. Even watching The Great Escape on Christmas Day, and the big movies of the time. Or I love a good war movie on Christmas, which is a bit not really appropriate, really, is it? But you know, it's
Well,
anyway.
you know, I guess
You
you
know.
had the meeting of doing the football, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Canon
right.
soccer.
Yeah. But I mean, movies and a lot of TV shows are very ephemeral things, as I've always said.
Yeah.
It's not like that for me, like video games are. You know, I can
You
watch
don't go
something
back
once.
and watch. You just watch them.
No, I never, I don't, because I don't forget it. So it's like, well, I've
Yeah.
seen it, so that's it. But there's a few things like, and I watched it the other night there because I hadn't seen it in a very good number of years, because you so kindly put me to a high quality link of it. Was
Yeah.
Christmas Comes to Parkland.
Yeah.
So I watched that, and it was good watching it all over again because I hadn't seen it in many years. You know, there's some clips on YouTube, but at least
Yeah.
archive.org has it there. So I had fun watching it. It's of its time Hanna-Barbera's take on Pac-Man. I loved the whole series of Parkland anyway, and obviously the video game. So it was good to watch. You know, Santa's flying, minding his own business with the reindeer, and because Pac-Man's been a chomping fest, you know, tearing the rags off the ghosts, it's only the eyeballs that are left, like the game on the cartoon. It's the eyes that scare the reindeer.
Yeah,
Therefore, all the presents are cascaded over Parkland, and Parkland knows nothing about Christmas. So it's a bit, you know, heartfelt and a bit, you know, a bit of humour to it and all the rest. So it's typical. I mean, if you're a fan of the cartoon, then you'd enjoy it. It's quite good.
It's special, isn't it? It's of its time, as you say, but
it's only
it's
on
nice.
for a
It's
bit.
always nice to see video game characters brought to life and
Yeah,
animation.
the
isn't it?
voice acting's very good. And it's like what you expect from all the it's all the regulars that if you watch all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, then you'll recognise the voice actors, won't you? That's the whole
Yeah, no, absolutely.
point.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, any more you wanted to shout out? Or-
The other one, it's just one more, is a Christmas Story, which I think is the best Christmas movie that's ever existed. It's a lovely, nostalgic 1950s movie where there's a boy who's wanting an air rifle or a BB gun for his Christmas, and his parents are going, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid," and he's trying to do, you know, subliminally get into his parents' minds to buy him this. So it just follows his, you know, before the closing of school. It's very much a high school thing, like what's the one with Fred Savage again? What was it called?
Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of vibe to it. The narrator, as an adult, speaking back about his childhood.
Yeah.
There's a bit about.
Sorry, I was just going to say, have you ever watched, because it takes a similar vibe, but it puts it in computing. It came out in 2021, so it's quite new. 8-Bit Christmas.
Yeah, seen that. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's just similar vibe you reminded me of.
It's Doogie Howser in that, isn't it?
Yeah, Doogie Howser's in it, and he's like
Yeah.
reminiscing back. It is
Yeah.
kind of, it's like, but it's all about very obviously American centric, but about getting, everybody wants to get the Nintendo, isn't it? Because it's like new.
So I was just going to say, yeah, it did a really good job of catching that Christmas vibe, didn't it? Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it's quite special.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that I always put on my list. I mean, I love the book that came out a few years before the
Yeah.
movie, so I was so excited when that got
That
turned into a
scene
movie.
with the power glove and eventually kill the dog because the big TV falls and kills the dog is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so they're your choices. Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I particularly I love watching Christmas movies. I have from my memories, like what G was saying about ringing the Argus catalogue. I used to do the same with the TV guide. You know, I used to, and it didn't matter. Usually, I never got a chance to watch half the things that I ringed on the thing because, like, you know, you're sharing with the family, and it's Christmas time. But you know that excitement that you had, like, of all these movies coming out and things. And I still like to carry that over. I like having, where perhaps people put Christmas music on in the background. I like having Christmas movies and TV shows in the background because it just brings back memories. And I've got so many. I mean, I love National Lampoon Christmas. That's a special one, you know, with Chevy Chase, and I guess everybody's seen that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, thinking with that one, I watched it the other day, and it's like it's like the whole premise is he's so upset because he didn't get like a Christmas bonus that he was promised. He worked hard all year and he only got like a turkey. I wish we got bloody Christmas bonus. I don't know what your places are like, but you're lucky to get sod all.
Well, I'm a poor council worker. I get nothing like that.
Yeah, well, I don't get anything like that. Never have. So yeah, but it's such a fun movie. I mean, anything with Chevy Chase in is brilliant. I always watch Muppet Christmas Carol. That's my go-to with the Christmas Carol. I love the Muppets. So Muppet and Christmas Carol is perfect for me, and I think it's one of the better Muppet movies personally. And Garfield Christmas Special, and I'm so pleased because you can't even buy it in the UK, but on the official Garfield YouTube channel they've got the Garfield for the UK only because it's like closed off, I guess, from you can't buy them in the UK. They've got them for free on YouTube, so I'll put it in the show notes because it's like the legitimate site. And the Garfield Christmas Special, if you've never seen it, it's so heartfelt and sweet, but with the cynicism of Garfield. It's really, really good. Has anybody else seen Garfield in...
Yeah, I've seen it before, and because you linked it there, I've watched about half of it now. Yeah. And Garfield was a very well done cartoon anyway, at the best of times.
Yeah.
The obviously got the same voice actor as Peter Venkman from the old Ghostbusters, and it absolutely suits.
Yeah, suits Garfield.
Garfield, you know what I mean? It's a very slovenly voice, very sarcastic, very,
it's very well
it.
done, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've so many, and I'll just rattle through some. Yogi's First Christmas, that's a special one.
What his second one and his third one? did it die after the first one?
I guess it went downhill. Yeah. But the
I've got myself a picnic basket, boo boo.
I like it. So good, and I love some of the ones like you got the Father Ted Christmas Special. You remember when he gets lost in the
lingerie aisle?
Yeah, brilliant.
See, I don't watch any of them. Never have, never will.
Oh no, you should, man. Like you can't knock the British comedy, man.
I can't be arsed with that.
Well, it's Irish comedy,
brilliant.
In fairness.
Well, in fairness, yeah. But it's in the vein of that sort of thing, isn't it? Yeah.
But I love the surreal nature. Actually, another one that a lot of people maybe not seen is have you ever watched The Worst Christmas of My Life? The Worst Christmas Week of My Life, I think it's called.
Never heard of it.
That was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's that's really good. I'll get the proper name and put it in the show notes. But I love, and of course, like you say, Morecambe and Wise is always wonderful to watch this time of year, and of course you got the sort of triple bill of where it's set at Christmas. So Die Hard, Gremlins, Batman Returns. I've already watched those three. They're usually the ones I watch to get me in the Christmas spirit at the beginning of December. That's G, I realise you said some of yours. Is there any more you wanted to add? I don't want to miss out if there's any.
No, I think we've said a lot of them. Touch them as we've gone through, like you said about the Gremlins and Die Hard and ones like that. And I say I touched on a lot of them. There's just so many, isn't there?
Oh,
really?
There's so many. Yes.
I'm glad we didn't all come here and go, all Love Actually, which isn't a bad film, but I mean, there's
the girls always have that on, but that's their Christmas tradition, not mine. I go in the other room when that's on. Not that it's a bad film, but once I've seen it, I've done really.
Yeah,
it's not repeat viewing, is it?
It's harder.
Yeah.
It's hard now with so many channels, but I mean, like I said, when it was fewer.
Come on, G, Rick, Drisky and Kingy. The night's just getting started. It's Christmas Blade here and the gaming spirit of Christmas future. So come on, what are you waiting for? Back up, let's get to this and take you to the Christmases of your future.
Right, okay, well there you go. So scary guy. I'm certainly looking forward to the Blade game coming out. It's gonna be an Xbox exclusive, isn't it? I know they've not really said, but I think it will be an Xbox exclusive. Should have asked him before he went. But we're in the future now, the far-flung future. So G's finally got his analog device.
He's got his PC set up.
His PC set up, yeah. and
His
got
Mac's now his
limited run.
footstool.
Yeah. So I'll go to you actually, G, first. Is there so you're in your future world? Is it what's your dream of retro item that would be under the Christmas tree in the far-flung future?
So you know, M2 Shot Triggers have been doing some like the Towerplane games, haven't they? The Towerplane Arcade Garage.
Yeah.
And they've been churning them out. So I would like to dedicate the Towerplane Wardener Christmas Special game on the Switch.
Wardener at Christmas. That's my dream come true.
Yeah, little hat on him. Yeah, get some little gnomes in there, reindeers. When you're jumping up into those trees, a few baubles and fairy lights. I mean, that has
Little
got to be
snowball
Kingy's.
shot.
Yeah, that has got to be his game. So, Rick, we've just had me Snow Brothers crossed with Wardener. We're there.
Oh, bang bang, we're off, mate.
Go on, make it happen. You got your game editor that you're working with. There's your game idea.
So yeah, when we look at the games, there's just so many, isn't there? So we've said about some we'd like remade. I think for me, there's never enough games, but I'd like to have played some more and finished some more games as we go through. Like with Rick, I think to get some like 1cc's on some of these games that we play quite a lot, but it's time to practice, and we've got so many games we don't sit down and do that. And I've been watching some of the guys who got some of these great clears on some of the smups out there, and they're like 2,000 hours of practice in, and you think they deserve to be that good. I'd like to sort my games room out. That would be something that, Ghost of Christmas Future could help me with.
You can always give me some. You can always give me some Christmas presents, G. I'm well.
Yeah, you can store it around Rick's. There you go. So,
Yeah, I've got a basement, mate. Yeah.
And getting Bradley into games, so I let him play with like joysticks and the arcade stick, and he can just about on tippy toe press the buttons on the candy cab. So get him into it.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? Is he? Because it's exciting to watch. So I watched Mira, like, because I bought the Taito Egret Mini. You know, the one there, and she loves Bubble, and watching her get off level 1 by herself was just so special.
And you're right, it's great to watch her. When Lauren was smaller, she always used to watch me play, and Street Fighter she's quite good at, and
We're all good.
Galaga, there are games she's got. She went to get a tattoo a few weeks ago, and she might listen to this, so all of her tattoos are absolutely fantastic. They're the best things ever. I love all of them. But she got I'd have to put it in a group, but she got a Galaga cab tattoo, which I thought was
cool,
rather nice.
So
Cool. Playing games with Bradley in the future, sort my games room out, getting some one CC clears, and Wardener game for Kingy.
Yeah.
What about you then, Kingy? I'll go to you.
I would like under the Christmas tree a little card. It's just a card I'm going to open, and it's an arcade club ticket invite for a lock-in New Year's party just after Christmas for us and all of our friends in Discord, just to go down there, hotel, the usual hotel, all the rest, but have Hogmanay, New Year, and have a good old time in arcade club. I think that even the listeners, obviously, it's a bit, speaking to them, Christmas is bigger for many people. New Year up here is a lot bigger up here. But I think everyone agree, despite your feelings on Hogmanay New Year, down to an arcade club would be a brilliant way to celebrate seeing a year out in future years. So perhaps if they find the preservation pill for us, and this could be going over to the year 2100. Something like that would be good. Still playing arcade games at that ancient old age. Who knows? Who knows? In terms of physical items, I would still love a good, proper pinball, digital pinball table. I mean, I've got my homemade one, and it's lovely and I have fun, but you know, you've seen the prices on them. They can be quite, they're quite. I would pay the price if I had that cash to burn. To be honest, because I think.
Yeah.
I think for the quality of the workmanship and the, you know,
If it's done right, it looks beautiful.
It's
doesn't
done
it?
right, yeah, absolutely. So it's not going to fit under the Christmas tree, that obviously, but I would love.
You'll make it fit. But
I'll make it fit.
Yeah.
I'll take some branches off the bloody
I
thing.
know what you
even-
mean. I mean, the arcade one-up one that I saw, like a friend's got, and they always skimp on the screen. You want it where they've put the effort in to make it look like the real deal on the screen. You know, the equivalent, I guess, of doing overlays as you would do on video games. You know, to give you that feeling of the glass and the 3D feel. That would be awesome, wouldn't it, with the pinball?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would. That's the one retro thing I don't really quite have yet. I've got it to a degree, and the homemade thing is everybody who's played it has enjoyed it, you know. But I'm not pretending it's of any high caliber. I mean, I want one with tilt switches and everything else, you know, to really have that as close to the real thing as possible.
Yeah.
And updates of modern tables that haven't really been brought digitally yet. You know, you might get the latest. You know, there's the latest.
And none of
movie,
that,
you know.
and none of the animations of the pinball FX, isn't it? You know, that make
That
it like the real.
they need to be. That can get in the sea completely. That
Yeah.
takes you away from that. Why did they even decide that was an acceptable thing? It's stupid.
Oh, I know. I bought, because it was in the sale, from their new pinball FX. I bought the Addams Family because it's my favourite pinball table, and it's just not the same.
No.
In fact, I don't know what they've done with the latest version of pinball FX, but they've really screwed it up. It doesn't feel, you know, the earlier version I quite like. I mean, apart from the animation, but it felt right. Something feels off on the new version, which is such a shame. No, good choices there. So, Rick, what about you? What are you hoping in the far-flung future?
I'm hoping for the numbers for the lottery, actually.
Yeah. Oh, well, aren't we all? I tell you, that would be the. We should have asked the ghosts of Christmas Present to tell us what.
No. In all seriousness, no. I'll tell you what I'd really like to see. I'd like to see a niche company develop affordable, in quotation marks, CRTs.
Oh,
like
retro
modern
CRTs.
retro CRTs that
With
you can
HDMI
double
input.
up. That's right. You can double up. You could double up as a computer monitor that would do. I don't need no more than 1080p, man. I'm a graphic designer or I'm a multimedia designer. I don't need fucking 4K or whatever. I just, if I could have a monitor that would sit on the table and not destroy my eyesight, and I could play retro games on, I'd be happy.
Yeah,
that would be
it
awesome.
would be awesome, wouldn't it? Because it is a concern, isn't it? Like CRTs are going to go.
They're going to disappear,
isn't it? And I'm surprised actually somebody hasn't. You know, I was thinking this because do you remember Sinclair in the early days? They did that portable TV, which was terrible screen, but it was clever for the time. But the way that he did it, where it was so compact, is that he basically used mirrors, so it was compact space. If someone sort of did something similar to that idea, so you're not got like a massive depth to the CRT and the massive weight. That would be
I'm
quite
sure they
cool.
could do it. I'm sure they could do it with a small tube, but like using modern technology to create like a something that give you the similar effect to the old school CRT, but it would upscale to modern resolutions, so to speak. It just feels like there's a proper market. There's a niche market there, but like a very a very profitable one in the long run. Because you're right. Like once all these Sonys, these old school Sony flat screens disappear, they're all going to break at one point, and all you're going to have is these flat panels that don't give fair enough. You get to play these old school games on these modern monitors, and it looks nice and crisp and stuff. But you just don't. I don't know. I don't know whether the emulation sort of route of like emulating the phosphors and whatever. Maybe at higher resolutions it might work at like 4K or 8K. Maybe you could get the pixel density to really create it. But I think the problem I have with the modern sort of scan lines and phosphors is that it dulls the brightness of the monitor, and you lose a little bit of what you would have had back in the day of like the glow and stuff. It doesn't quite translate.
The scanline overlays, you are basically...
They dull the colours, don't they?
Yeah. Well, it's because you've basically got black every other line, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's the thing. I have to say I've still not tried it in the flesh, but I was quite impressed with some of the MUVR, their recreations of CRTs in VR. Mm-hmm. I thought looked very impressive. You know, people were like zooming in and you can see the individual pixels. You know, it's well done. But yeah, I mean mine was very similar. I'm greedy, so I had a couple of things. I thought if I'm going to ask the Christmas in the future, because of course I will have won the lottery. So so my one was very similar. I would love an emulator FPGA device that's got proper built-in scalers, does a really good job, but none of the, things like the RetroTink, there's just too much faffing, it just does it for you, is what I'm after. Not like a RetroTink where every individual game you've got to tweak all the settings to get it right. That to me would be just amazing, an all-in-one box. You got all the games, massive hard drive space because it's the future, and you've just got everything there. But one of the things I would love would be live translations of games, so it opens up the gaming library to me, because you can do that. There's apps on your phone, Papago, we've talked about it before, Kingy, in the thing, and that you can hold up the phone or take a photo and it will translate but give you the text in the right place, and to be honest, using that has opened up some games to me that were, because often you don't know how to get past the menu, let alone play the game. But you can imagine that like live, so you could play like Japanese RPGs and things, and you've got a reasonable translation.
Yeah, with AI, that's probably a very likely possibility, isn't it?
Yeah,
in the future?
Yeah. I think that would be the future for emulators. I think that would be a good thing. And of course, the big dream would be like an AR VR device, proper sort of Ready Player One territory with haptic gloves. You can imagine like in a corner, you arcade and pinball could just be there virtually, and with your haptic gloves it feels like you're touching it and playing
the
it.
Things,
and you could just like switch between whatever game, whatever arcade you want and what have you. But I mean, the other thing would be, of course, I am really looking forward to when Mira's a bit older. I'm hoping that she's going to be a gamer girl. She might not be, but that's down to her. But it'd be nice when she's that little bit older and see her discover both movies and games. Discover all these films and games.
They just won't, mate. Kids have just their own lives and their own nostalgias and their own things that have influenced. We can all dream that kids are like that. I know, but my lad, as much as he wants to come to arcade clubs, he loves playing the old games in that way. Yeah. His heart isn't there. He loves the buzz of it, but it's not.
He'd be bored, do you think?
No, he won't be bored. But I'm just meaning, as much as he would play these things, he doesn't discuss these things, and it's a big difference.
Well,
it's not of his time, is it?
He doesn't have the nostalgia that we have of playing these as a kid. The last thing, if I'm truly dreaming, is I want Sega to not just do these remasters like we said at the beginning of the show, but I want them to bring. There's so many fantastic Sega arcade games, things like Indy 500 and all of their races. The Outrun collection. There's so many that are just sat on the floor. I would love them to release like a collection of arcade games that I could play on modern systems. I know I can do it with emulators, but it'd be nice to have a proper official arcade series. That would be really cool for me, I think. Yeah. So, G, any final ones for you or anything like that?
No, like you said, around some of the Sega ones, they've got such a huge back catalogue of games. I think that when we look at the Switch, that is becoming a console of choice for some remakes, remasters, and some really good games on there. So I'd be quite interested to see how that goes, and what I dare say next year we'll get an update on what is going to be the successor to the Switch.
Oh, I hope it's backwards compatible. And I hope they bring this.
For once, you need to.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo are good, have been quite good at with the handhelds, haven't they? When you look at the Colour, the Advance, and the SP, they've all
with the handhelds, but they also been awful with. What about all those people that bought on the Wii? The store digitally, and all of that's like dead in the water now, isn't it? So I've always been wary. I buy a lot of the, as Kingy's rightly ribbed me for, I do buy a lot of Switch games, but they tend to be of the £2 variety. I wait till they're in the sales, but yeah, I really hope. I think any company that doesn't learn to honour digital sales in this new world, because it's a big difference even from the Wii era. It was accepted, but now you've got like digital purchases as a norm. It's no longer the outlier. I think you're gonna have a tough time.
I mean, Steam, in terms of PC gaming, that's always been the case. You buy a new PC, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. You're using a Windows environment. So we've been lucky that way. Obviously, with consoles, it goes into new architecture. And this is where the issue lies, is getting... I mean, it's not to say they can't do it, but they would have to work on everything ever sold in the store that is designed to work on a console, then therefore to work on some new architecture. It's always going to be difficult on consoles for that to be a thing, and that's where I am never ever going to be digital purchaser on consoles, and I don't buy consoles anymore. I mean, we'll have the Switch obviously, and it's because Nintendo still create highly quality products that I think outstrips anyone in terms of, I mean, look at Mario Wonder, we've been saying that, or the new, you weren't too keen on the new Zelda game, but I think it's...
Oh, I appreciate it. It's a wonderful game. It's just not for me.
But that's the only reason I go for that yet. But at least at the moment, these can be bought physically. But in the next decade, physical's gone completely.
Yeah.
It's dead in the water. It will be a thing and a relic of the past. So, hell mend them if they don't respect retrospective purchases.
No, I don't think they will. I think Sony and Nintendo just see it as a way of regenerating money.
Buy it again and buy it again and buy it again, and that just... How many times have you bought a certain game on their consoles previously where, well, I've already bought that, I've lost it in that virtual store, now to buy it again. And yet again, it encourages emulation, it encourages piracy, different means of preservation, if you want to call it that. But I mean, we're lucky. We've got so many games we can tap into by many means. So if gaming stopped tomorrow, the games we want to play haven't, because we've got the ability to access them, haven't we?
Oh yeah, no, we've got it. Yeah, right.
Oh, I went Rick Dark at the end of the episode there.
Right, okay, so shall we go back to the present? I'll give you all the Greys sporting almanac each from the future, and we'll head back to the present day. So no, I think it's been a really fun episode, and hopefully to our listeners, you will join us on some of the memories, and I'm sure your memories will be very much the same. But we all wish, don't we, to all our listeners, have a wonderful Christmas and a fantastic New Year. And you're the best. It's so great hearing everybody on Discord and see all the chatting. I think the last time I was looking, it was all about Christmas biscuits. I mean, it's an eclectic thing that they're always chatting about on the Discord.
They've been listening to too much 10pence arcade, I think.
Yeah. No, it was some the retro. Oh no, it wasn't biscuits, was it? It was chocolate, retro chocolate.
Retro chocolate. Yeah. That's
But
right.
anything you boys want to say or wrap things
Well, I
up
think,
before we end?
I mean, when I was a child, right, I remember lying there in bed with my eyes closed waiting for Santa to come, okay?
Yeah.
I wondered where that was going for a minute.
Yeah, and then, wait, I was going there actually. Then there was that awkward silence, and then he got dressed and left. No, you can edit that out, Paul. That's not appropriate.
We just left Santa a mince pie, gone and left him a cream pie.
Big bulging sack.
It's all going in this, boys. It's all going.
No, I'm going to treat the family this year for Christmas, guys. I'm going to put
really?
the heating on Christmas Day. Right, so that's it. That's my big expenditure for Christmas.
Awesome. Well, on that note, unless anybody else wants to say any final thoughts, no. To our listeners, boys and girls, you're the best. We thank you so much for listening to RGDS. You really are the ones that make it happen and keep us going. And can't wait to see you all in Arcade Club. I know I'm planning in probably January or February to go up there again. I'm already getting the itch to go back to Arcade Club, but really looking forward to our usual meet-up in October time. It's just be great to see everybody again, isn't it? So, until next time, Merry Christmas and keep it retro.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
you
Christmas.
lot.